Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate day of racing here at the British Swimming Championships 2022. My name's John Mason. I've been here all week, and I tell you what, it has been an amazing week of racing. This weekend is set to be absolutely no different. Today's action, of course, starts with these heats. Top 8 athletes making it through to tonight's A final and battling it out in the pool this evening for that title of British champion. If you're watching at home or you're in here and you want to use the social medias, don't forget to use the hashtag BSC22. Tag us in your pictures, tag in your selfies, let us know what you're thinking about the event, cheer on your favorite athletes, all that sort of stuff. We do love a little bit of at-home engagement. But we're going to be live here tonight from 6 p.m. in the Deep End Live studio. We've got some guests, we've got some games, we've got a whole lot of fun coming up. That's 6 p.m. live on YouTube and Facebook, so let your friends know. But for now, it's time to get into Heat Day 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to
So welcome to the 5th morning of heats at this British National Championships for 2022. 1,500 swimmers are here at these championships. 4,000 swims will be swum, and it has been an absolute cracker so far. Delighted to be joined again, 5th morning in a row, by Great Britain's Amy Wilmot, 3 times Olympian, 2 times Olympic finalist in one of the toughest events on the calendar, that 400 meters individual medley. And from the 400 medley, Amy, we're going to go and start straight into the women's 50 meters backstroke assortment. Did you ever do one of those?
No, I was a little bit of a backstroke swimmer when I was younger, but never quick enough to do the 50.
Well, then we go into the fastest men in water, the fastest human beings. And I have to say, Ben Proud, one of the fastest human beings on the planet ever. He goes in the 50 meters freestyle. Women's 400 meters freestyle, I think, is the most successful women's event that we've ever had on the Olympic program.
Yeah, it's a really good event for us in the past. We've got Leah Crisp, who won our 800 freestyle, going into that this morning as well.
And then we see Duncan Scott coming back on the 200 medley, and that 400 medley he did. I mean, so many fantastic statistics about that race.
Yeah, world #1 swim this year. Commonwealth record, British record, really good swim from him.
So he'll be going in the men's 200 medley. Then we've got the women's 200 medley. Just on that men's, though, we've also got Tom Dean having a crack at that one. Our double Olympic gold medalist won the 200 meters freestyle with Duncan Scott winning the silver. And I wouldn't be too surprised if they're next lanes to each other in the final this evening.
Yeah, Tom Dean was always a really good medley swimmer when he was slightly younger, so it's good to see both of these boys doing the freestyle and the medley.
Then we've got the women's 200 AM, and well, we've got in that we've got Katie Shanahan, who won the 200 meters backstroke. She's going in it, but of course we've got Abby Wood, our Olympic finalist in that 200 AM, so nearly won a medal. And then the final event is the men's 800 meters freestyle. All but the last heat. The final heat will be in the this evening's finals. That heat declared winner. So the first event. We start with heat 8. Heats 1 to 7 will be this afternoon in a slower set of heats. This heat 8 of 14, Scarlett Ferris in 4. Ooh. So in 3, the pink suit of Ellie Turner of University of Stirling. In 4, Scarlett Ferris of Perth City. And the starter just making sure that they got the equipment working appropriately. It's the first start this morning. They do test it. Wow. Well, I'm not sure Ellie Turner was quite still there in that pink suit, and she didn't have the best start because of it, which is a shame. But Scarlett Ferris of Perth City had a good start in the red hat there.
Yeah, good start from her. It's difficult when it doesn't go your way at the beginning. You have to stand down and get back up. It can sometimes be quite off-putting.
So Scarlett Ferris of Perth in 4, but the rest of the field starting to come back, and it's going to be very, very tight. Underneath those backstroke flags with 5 meters to go. Also going well at the bottom is Addison of Norwich. And Gemma Hall gets the touch, 30.33, a lifetime best for her. Her best was 30.60. So she gets first. Second, down at the bottom, was Addison, 30.4, big lifetime best for her as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see these swimmers first heat up. Not necessarily the best start, but a lot of these swimmers already just dipping under their PB.
So just having a check on the results here because, well, possibly because of the start. I wouldn't be too surprised if there's a little bit of a chat about that because I think poor old Ellie Turner got a little bit caught there.
Yeah, shame for her. It's not nice when you've prepared all season and something like that happens and you just can't quite get the start that you've been working on.
So there's the ready room as we wait for the confirmation of the results of that, the first of the heats this morning. And it's the first time I think that we've had a camera in the ready room, and certainly the first experience for these women. The last time they would have swum would have been, what, 2019 or so. And there is a camera, there's a television screen right in front of them, so they are looking at themselves right now.
Yeah, sometimes can be a little bit off-putting. You kind of trying to see what you look like, trying to ignore it all at the same time.
So heat 8 now confirmed. Hall wins it, new lifetime best for her. Addison in second. Heat 9 of 14 of those women's 50 metres backstroke. Magliocco of Camden Swiss Cottage, the junior, goes in 4 as the fastest seed. There's nobody in lane 5. Elaine Murray of Aberdeen Performance is withdrawn, so the fastest seed is the white hat there in the centre.
Really good start there from Amelia. She uses that 15 metres underwater to her advantage, and she's got nicely into this rhythm down this first length.
So Magliocco of Camden Swiss Cottage in that white hat, also going pretty well up the top there. Needs to bring it home inside this last 10. Hannah Woodcock is in lane number 8, one from the top. Of course, there's a lane 9, but a really good swim there from Magliocco, 30.27. Well, that's a lifetime best for her as well. So started really well. First swimmers winning heats 8 and 9, setting lifetime best. And that's really what British swimming are looking for here, getting the youngsters in, the juniors in, and Magliocco is a junior. She can compete at the European Junior Championships, and she swam well.
Yeah, second in that event was Sophie Bromley from City of Sheffield, and a 30.62, and 0.01 splitting her and her teammate Georgina.
So that's 2 heats of the 7 heats that will be swum in the heats this morning. 7 heats of the 50s, the 100s and the 200s. 6 heats of the 4s. And then the 8s and the 15s. It's just 3 in this session. And then the final heat will go this evening in the finals. Lauren Bradley Holt of City of Salford, fastest seed there in 4, the yellow hat. So Lauren in 4. This heat's 10 of 14 of the women's 50 metres backstroke.
Yeah, we've got a lot of juniors as well in this event, but as we kept saying before, this is not a qualification or consideration event for the European juniors, but doesn't mean they'll still not be wanting to get in here and swim well, because if they've made 100 or 200, they'll also get the opportunity to swim the 50s when they get there.
Well, very even down this, the third of the heats this morning. And in lane number 3, it looks like Florence Tinsley of First Stirling. She has got the touch. Yes, she does. 30.11. Another lifetime best, winning the third heat this morning, the third of 7. So each of the 3 heats won, and a new lifetime best for the swimmers. And this is great to see. 1,500 swimmers here. Awful lot of them, but they're swimming well.
Yeah, when you see the heat before, you know you've got to come out and swim fast. So Florence takes the first position in that heat there in a 30.11. Second was Neem Ward, 30.59.
And there's the ready room for, well, the later heats of this 50 metres. Look at the back. It is the first time a lot of these swimmers will have seen themselves. There is that TV camera right up front, and so they can see themselves. It's an interesting one, isn't it? You put a TV camera in front of them, different people react in very different ways. Some are slightly embarrassed. Lady in the green there, completely nonplussed.
Yeah, and Kathleen Dawson there's actually got her back to the TV camera, so she's paying absolutely no attention to that, and she'll be up in our last heat of our 50 back this morning.
Well, it's interesting. We saw Adam Peaty really concentrating, prowling around like a lion he was in that ready room. Interesting way he does it. He gets really in the zone very early, where someone like Ben Proud, really relaxed, lovely guy, fantastic temperament, but much more relaxed, I think.
Yeah, we'll see him up this morning in the men's 53, and he's got a slightly different race preparation strategy, and it makes a lot of swimmers out there nervous because he almost doesn't look ready in time.
Well, Molly Garrett in lane 6. There's a great pedigree. Mother was an Olympian, father was an Olympic coach, and she was 18 years of age yesterday. Celebrates her birthday. Happy birthday, Molly, in 6. In 4, Annabelle Smith, the fastest seed in the white hat. So heat 11 of 14, the last of the unseeded heats in this women's 50 metres backstroke.
Yeah, lane 3 there got off to a lovely start, Iona Colbert, and we've seen her swim so many amazing swims this week. She's already qualified for the 100 back in the European Junior Championships, or should we say achieved that consideration time. So if she does well this morning, she's probably going to get the chance to swim that there.
Well, she's in lane 3 in that green hat. Going well in 5 at the moment, though, is Abigail Jolie of University of Leeds. And does she get the touch? Yes, she does. 29.93, so the first swimmers are under 30 seconds. And yes, another lifetime best. Well done. Fabulous swim. Well, 30 seconds is such a barrier, and 29.93. I'd say miles under it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially on a 50, 0.07. It's a nice barrier to break. And Molly Garrett coming in just behind her there in time of 30.14. And Annabelle from Bromley finishes in 30.21.
So PBs certainly for those first 2 swimmers. And now we get into the fastest 3 heats. They're circle seeded, so the 3rd fastest swimmer coming into this meet is in lane 4. It's our European Championship silver medalist on the 200 backstroke, Cassie Wilde. But she's got some quick swimmers around her. Oswin in 3 and Hindley in 5.
Yeah, these girls both swam the 200 back earlier in the week, and Chloe Golden was also in the 100 and finished 4th. So there's a lot of really good backstroke swimmers coming up in this heat.
A lot of good 200ers. Wilde, European silver medalist in 4. Honey Osborne, bronze on the 200 back here in 3. 5th on the 200 back, Chloe Golding in 2. And 7th, Anna Green up there in 7. 7th in the B final. So the first of the seeded heats of the women's 50 backstroke. The fastest seed is Cassie Wilde of University of Stirling in 4 in that white hat.
Yeah, good start from both girls there in the centre in the yellow lanes. 15 metres underwater is what we want to see in a 50 backstroke, and set Cassie up really nicely now coming down this length.
Well, Cassie Wilde looks very good indeed here. She can qualify for the Commonwealth Games. The time that the Scots have set for that is 28.45. And she does look good here, Cassie Wilde, the white hat. She's really driving. Get the finish, 28.45, just outside of that. Oh, only just outside of it. Wow, 13/100ths of a second outside that time that Scotland have set for qualification. She can still be considered if she doesn't do it, but that was a good swim. I'm sure she can have a crack tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't see Cassie in the 200 yesterday, as more swimmers off the back of an Olympic year having a little bit of a disrupted year, maybe taking some time off, not quite settled in. So for her to come this morning, finish 1st in her heat and finish in a time of 28.5, she'll be looking to improve on that tonight.
Well, it's a good swim. Hindley 2nd, Golding 3rd, Grant 4th, Osrin 5th. Well, with another 2 big heats to go, it looks like under 29.5 is quite an important number, that, because look, 3rd is 29.54, 29.55 was 4th, so if you can shoot for sub 29.5 in one of these next 2 heats, and many swimmers will believe they can do that here, great chance of making the national final this evening, the A final. There is a B final, there's a priority Paris final for athletes born 2001 and later, and then a junior final.
Yeah, 4 chances for these swimmers to come back, which is a really good thing about this British Championships.
Can all coaches for athletes in Heat 8 of the women's 50 metres and backstroke please report to the timing suite.
Well, an announcement that all swimmers from Heat 8, would they please, the coaches please report. That was the first heat, and I do think that there was a little bit of an issue on the start. We did notice that, didn't we?
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be a re-swim in that event. It's not nice when a swimmer gets left behind because they're not ready, and Ellie Turner was really struggling in that first length of that, well, the first start of this morning session.
I'm guessing they will offer a re-swim, yes. OK, so this is Heat 13, the second last heat. Medli Harris, what a year she's having.
Yeah, she's had a really good season. Dropped lots of time in the 100 back, so she'll be quick this morning in this 50, no doubt.
Can't wait to see this. Wonderful swimmer. Medli Harris in 4 from Swansea University. Only relatively recently joined during COVID. Good start as well. 14.5 of the 15 metres underwater allowed. Yeah,
nice smooth transition into that breakout, head back, strong leg kick, which is exactly what we want to see in a 50.
Well, the Welsh qualifying time is quick. They've set 28.22. She's very capable of that, but 28.22 is the consideration time that Wales have set. This is a wonderful swim. Get in there. Very good swim indeed. 28.07. So that's, 15/100ths of a second inside the consideration time that Team Wales have set for qualification for the Commonwealth Games, and I'm sure she'll be there anyway. That 100 metres backstroke was sensational, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely swim there. You could just tell from the get-go she had a really good start, really nice underwater work, lovely transition, and to swim 28.07 this morning's pretty quick.
So Harris was first to finish. Had a little bit of an issue with the clock. We're just looking there down at the scoreboard. There's the officials, the starting officials, but they've now got it sorted, I think. So Medli Harris wins the second last heat, the women's 50 backstroke. Very quick indeed, 28.07. And then Latham second, Leah Whitaker of Mount Kelly third, and her teammate Kinsman fourth.
Yeah, fourth there, just outside the fastest three swimmers from the heat before, so we'll have to see if she makes it back in the A final tonight.
Great that British Swimming have put on B finals and Priority Paris and Juniors, so 32 swimmers can come back tonight. Such a good opportunity to learn, to come back in, watch the big guys and how they do it. Fastest seed, Kathleen Dawson, Olympic gold medalist. So Dawson in 4, won the Olympic gold medal on that mixed medley relay lead-off. She's the British record holder on this, the 50 metres backstroke and the 100.
Yeah, prefers the 50 and the 100 over the 200, even though she is still a phenomenal 200 backstroke swimmer. So she's just so versatile in these events.
And Lauren Cox of Loughborough University in 5. Really quick turnover. Lovely high head position. Very quick turnover. Dawson coming back at her now. And it's these two. 4 is Dawson. 5 is Cox. And it looks like Cox might have got it. She has. By 2/100ths of a second, 28.29 versus 28.31. So that is very quick swimming indeed from those two, and there's going to be a cracking final. If you stick Medli Harris in there in the final tonight, that's going to be a corker.
Yeah, big smiles from her to equal her entry time. So on paper, her personal best time's 28.00, like some of these athletes, so we'll expect some of these just to try and nip the other side of 28 flat later on today.
So the qualifiers for the final, look at that. Medli Harris goes in fastest, Cox in second, Olympic champion Dawson in third, Wild in fourth, Hindley in fifth. What a final that is. Leah Whitaker's made it for Mount Kelly, as has Pia Murray. So the top 8 go through to the A final, and then 9 through 16 will be in the B final.
Yeah, 17 through to 23 will then be in the Priority Paris final, and then the remainder in the junior final. But we've got to remember that those juniors that swim faster than technically the age for the junior final will be in either the A, the B, or the Priority Paris final. So they'll be seeded depending on how quick they were, not necessarily just on their age this morning.
And it is interesting that so you can win the junior final, but actually there could have been a junior faster in the Priority Paris final, which is considered to be one up, and then the B final one up again, and the A final one up. So you can win the junior final, but not necessarily be the fastest junior.
Yeah, it gives a lot of the swimmers chance to swim again and again, and the juniors that are fast enough want to be in the fast heats with the best swimmers in Britain.
So here are the men waiting for the men's 50 metres freestyle, the first heat. It is heat 8, heats 1 to 7. We'll go at lunchtime in the slightly slower heats. And with 7 heats at lunchtime, another 70 swimmers allowed to compete here at the British Nationals in 2022. And after COVID and all the restrictions, that's brilliant. Adrian Ting in lane number 4 of University of Birmingham, the fastest seed in this, the first of the heats in this session of the 50 metres freestyle. He's in 4. My goodness me, this is tight though. It looks like a swimmer from University of Bath. He's going very well in 3, and this is going to be fascinating. Stewart of University of Bath in 3. Does he get the touch? He does. Stewart of Bath University, 23.64. Well, his second half of that 50 was really good. Yeah,
he had a really nice high turnover there. Held that the whole way through the race, comes into the wall in a new personal best time. Really good from him.
So Stewart of Bath University wins it. Alex Mason of Mount Kelly, both of them underneath 24 seconds. Ting third, Pennington fourth. So lifetime best for both of them in the first heat, going through to heat 9 of 14. I keep talking about lifetime best, and I keep highlighting it because for so many to do it at the national championships is really quite special. Season's best, yes, but lifetime best is really interesting. Sam Neild of University of Surrey, the fastest seed in 4 in this heat 9. And a good, very good start from Sam in 4. Look at that.
Yeah, really nice. What you want is you want to be quick off the block, quick up to the surface and get into that stroke nice and quick.
Also going very well is Thomas Bloor of Loughborough University right at the top, and it looks like he's going to do a little sneaky one on the outside here. Fascinating. I'll ask you in a second about which lane you'd prefer on a 50 metres freestyle aim, but Bloor looks like he's got the touch. Oh, no, he didn't, because lane 0 right at the bottom got it, 23.51. Wow, well, that's a 0.6 second lifetime best for Jordan Cooley to win from University of Leeds. What a great swim.
Yeah, both of these outside lanes there, finishing 1 and 2, and well, if you ask me what lane I'd rather be in, I think in a 50 if I was out the way on the outside, not in the middle of that wash and that splash, because as soon as you get left behind in a 50, it's really difficult to get over that wave. You want to sit on the hip, not necessarily get too far behind, but if you're in one of the outside lanes, you can almost swim your own race and you've not really got anyone around you kind of affecting that.
Well, I have to say I agree. An outside lane at a 50 freestyle is fine, certainly in the heats. In the finals, stick me in the middle with the big boys. So Shakil Giordani of the City of Manchester Aquatics, the fastest seed, is in lane number 4. In 7, Michael Klimashevsky, the 17-year-old, won the junior final in the 100 metres freestyle. He's having a really good meet, but very, very tight down this first 25.
Yeah, really good swim from him in lane 7 there. Holding on. Oh, sorry, lane 6 there has had the great start, actually.
So Jacob Jackson of City of Birmingham is in lane 6, and from the start, oh, big breath there. He's not particularly quick when he breathes, but when he sticks his head down, he's lightning. 23.51, a new lifetime best again by 4/10ths of a second, I should say. Another cracking swim, 4/10ths on a 50.
And he doesn't even look tired at the finish. A lot of these swimmers who swim 50 freestyle, usually a little bit more muscly, slightly bigger, and it is really physically demanding, especially if you're holding your breath for most of the race.
Well, we'll see in a second Ben Proud, and we'll count his breaths, and it's a fairly easy count, I'm afraid, because it's 0. And it'll be interesting to see how many breaths these guys take. Heat 11 of 14, last of the unseeded heats. Jonathan Beck of Beausejour is in lane number 4. Rosafio of Loughborough University in 5. Beck closer to us of those two, the pink suit of Rosafio in 5. Last of the unseeded heats of the men's 50 free. And Jonathan Beck of Beausejour. Well, he's had a decent start, but probably the best start up in lane 8. Thomas Exel of Loughborough University.
Yeah, a couple of juniors as well to watch out for, and the consideration time for this event for them is 22.98.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for you. Certainly lanes 0, 1 and 9. The outside guys can qualify, but this is going to be tight. Oh, very good swim indeed. Lane number 3, Theo Cannon. He's had a good meet. We've talked about him a few times. 23.48 wins it. Another 4/10ths of a second lifetime best, and Theo Cannon swam well.
Yeah, really good there from the get-go. 50 freestyle, you can't afford to hang around, can't afford to waste time, so it's good to see some of these boys getting up and getting into their stroke count, stroke rhythm as quick as possible.
So now we have the 30 fastest men cycle seeded all across these last 3 heats. There's the just the official results of the last heat, though. Cannon winning it, new lifetime best for him. Exel 2nd, Mitchell 3rd, Simmons Brown in 4th, and Rosafio in 5th. So the top 30 now, and we have Callum Bain. He comes into this meet as 3rd fastest seed. He's in lane 4 of this, the 3rd last heat. And around him, some quick guys. Constantine in 2, Smith in 3, Jones in 5.
Yeah, Dan Jones here in lane 5 after that Welsh consideration time of 22.20.
Wow, that's quick for 53 for the men, isn't it? It really is. Heat 12, men's 53, and there's nobody in lanes 2 or 8, so Harry Constantine has withdrawn, as has swimmer in lane number 8. But Callum Bain of University of Stirling in 4 is going well, but 5 is Daniel Jones of Swansea University, 6 on the 100 metres freestyle, and this looks very good indeed. A big straight arm, very powerful stroke. Can he get the touch? He can, and that looks good. 22.63, the first of the big guns in, and 22.6, a new lifetime best for him. A really impressive swim, that, yes.
Yeah, we were saying how quick that time is for the Welsh swimmers of 22.2, but he's done a 0.1 PB this morning. So tonight, when he's with some of the big guns in the middle, you'd like to think they can maybe drag each other to achieve some of these consideration times.
So he's got to knock off about, well, for the Welsh team, 22.20, so he's got to knock off 0.42. It's a big ask, but not impossible.
No, definitely not. And if you get the right side of that wave, you may be sitting on Ben Proud's hip. You'll get a nice little carry, and fingers crossed that'll help them get as close to these times as possible.
Well, this one is going to be really, really interesting because we've got Lewis Burrows, the new British champion on the 100 metres freestyle, missed the British record on the 100 by 1/100th of a second. So Duncan Scott still holds that in 5. It's Adam Barrett, the 29-year-old. Calvin Fry in 6, but Lewis Burrows looked wonderful on the 100. Heat 13 of 14 of the men's 50 metres freestyle, and Lewis Burrows right in the centre in 4 in the blue hat.
Yeah, he was up quick, and a quick stat for you, he was 0.01 slower than Caleb Dressel in his swimming speed last night in his 100 freestyle.
My goodness me, well, really good swim here again. Look at this, head down. Let's just keep an eye on the qualification time for Team England, 22.09. So he's qualified for the Commonwealth Games without no doubt. But after that 100 metres freestyle last night, he was on the team anyway, wasn't he? 21.90, and that's a really, really good swim. The qualification standard for the World Championships, 21.79, so he's just outside that, but really good.
Yeah, really nice swim from him there. He just has such a fast turnover in his stroke. Not necessarily the best at his skills. He was up first off the start, but he makes up for it with the ability to swim so fast during the length.
Wow, that really was quite special. And it was interesting to see him. To 25, he was sort of okay. And then he just started putting the hammer down, almost like he pressed the accelerator at 25.
Yeah, really important in the 50s especially is to accelerate into the finish. 0.01 could be the difference between Olympic gold and 3rd or 4th. So you really need to be sharp on those skills.
Well, talking of sharp on skills, let's watch the black hat here. That is one of the fastest men in history in the water. It is Ben Proud, the British record holder. Been world champion on the 50 fly. And our Commonwealth champion, double Commonwealth champion on this men's 50 metres freestyle, right in the centre. Look at this from Ben Proud. What a masterclass.
Yeah, phenomenal start. He's so upright at the beginning, kind of shows his dominance, almost scares everyone around him.
Well, he's seen a 21.9 already from Lewis Burrows in the previous heat, but what a beautiful stroke. Really measured turnover, very strong arms, straight arms. 22.2. It looked pretty easy. I've got to say, slightly slower turnover than I've seen him before. Wasn't attacking it quite as strongly, but he's so cool, he's so calm, so measured.
Yeah, he's a really lovely person to have on the team. He's so chilled. Whenever you're around Ben Proud, you do just feel quite relaxed. Sometimes you expect these 50 freestyle boys to be kind of like really in your face and showy-offy, and Ben's a total opposite, and he just looked so nice when he swam there this morning, and I'm sure tonight he'll be wanting a tiny bit more out of that race.
Well, I have to say, it looked easy, it looked comfortable, and he's won it by, what, half a second pretty much. Proud wins the final heat of the men's 50 free. Alexander Painter, good swim from him, 22.7 in second. And 3rd was Thomas Watkin of City of Sheffield, the first 3 going under 23 seconds. So the qualifiers for the final, and the top 8 will go through to the final. Burrows will go in fastest ahead of Ben Proud. That's interesting. Barrett's in. Let's see, Callum Bain is in. Good for him for the Scots. Alexander Smith, Painter's in for Millfield. And then swimmers 9 through 16, Jacob Whittle, our medalist on the 100 metres freestyle, down in 10th, so he'll be in the B final.
Yeah, Callum Bain there is one of our guest swimmers, so he may be taken out the mix, which means number 9 will advance into the A final tonight. Well, let's, I was going to say, let's hope he is. Not necessarily from his point of view, but there's a tie for 16th, so if one of the swimmers ahead of him does get taken out, then they won't need to have a swim-off. Yeah, we've seen a few swim-offs this week and a few different places of people being tied and either choosing to swim in the B final or the Priority Paris final, depending on age. So it just shows how tight and how close a lot of these swims are at the British Championships this year. Well, what a great set of heats that is. And
finally we've got 2 men on the 50 freestyle. For such a long time, we've only really had one, and it's been Ben Proud. He's Commonwealth champion in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in 2014, and then backed it up in 2018 when he went to the Gold Coast and won there alongside your gold, actually. Seem to remember very, very clearly. Amy Wilmot. Very different events, though, 50 free and 400 medley.
Yeah, I think if you could pick an event in the programme, you'd probably wish to pick being a 50 freestyler, but unfortunately, some of us never had those gifted genes, so 400 medley was where I was sitting at, if I'm being quite honest.
Well, there'll be a little bit of a delay while they change the timing pad. That's in lane 0 at the turn end. But almost unprecedented that Ben Proud is going to go and try and win 3 Commonwealth titles in a row in the 50 metres freestyle. There's very few done 3 in a row. Adam Peaty's on it, of course, for the 100 metres breaststroke.
Yeah, to win 3 Commonwealth Games back-to-back, spans an 8-year period, is phenomenal, to show that you're at the top of your game for such a long period of time, and especially in those 50 events where, as I've said before, 0.01 can be the difference between a gold or a silver and 4th. So you've got to be really sharp, and every time you race, you've got to be being technically perfect.
And there it is, just fantastic to see parents, friends and family back in the swimming pool. They just haven't been here for so long. I think the last Nationals was, what, 2019 that we had spectators in, so it's been 3 years. There we go. Twizzlers at the back there. Good looking chap, isn't he? Look at that. He works out.
Yeah, a lot of the parents missed being here last year, so those senior parents, my parents, missed watching me qualify for the Olympic Games. So it's nice to see parents back in the building supporting their children. At the end of the day, mum, dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents put in almost just as much work as the swimmers do, and I know my mum and dad were amazing when I was younger, and I would never have achieved what I have without them. So it's nice to see them back, and they get to enjoy the experience of being here and watching their children race.
Now, I know your dad's name because I used to room with him sometimes on the British team trips. Stu, right, Stu? I don't know your mum's name.
Yeah, Alison, and I'm sure they'll be listening this morning. They've been listening in to my commentary now. I'm not in the pool, I'm outside of the pool. They've still been tuning in. They can't get away from the British champs.
Now, my parents used to be my biggest and best, most constructive critics on my commentary. Are you getting a little bit of constructive feedback?
Yeah, my dad was like, I'm sure when you listen back, you'll hear some things that you say a lot of the time.
Does he say it like that?
I hope he's as polite as that.
He's changed. So the first heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. 6 heats in this session. This is actually heat 6, because we will have heats 1 to 5 in the heat session this afternoon. And British Swimming very sensibly splitting the heats into 2 sessions, so they have as many heats as they can. So there are 11 heats of women's 400 metres freestyle. The first 5 will be this afternoon in a slightly slower heat session, and then heats 6 to 11 here are for the fastest 60 400 metres freestylers. There's 7 heats of the 50s, the 100s and 200s in this morning session, and then 6 heats of the 400s, and then the 8 and the 15. There's just 3 heats in this one, and then the fastest heat is in the final session.
Yeah, it's great to have the opportunity for so many athletes to be here, and I believe even some athletes were rejected because the volume of entries under those qualifying times from the British champs was enormous, that we couldn't physically squeeze everybody in. So it just shows that British swimming and athletes in this country are really starting to develop, really starting to enjoy being back in the pool, and are finally now being able to post some times to qualify for events like this.
So that's the first 100 metres turn, and in lane number 5 in this first heat of women's 400 metres freestyle, it is heat 6. In lane 5, it's Olivia Kingsland of Nova Centurion. And they've had a good set of results so far here, haven't they? I think the Colbert family also swimming very well. Freya won, what did she win, the 400 medley?
Yeah, 400 medley gold, 200 freestyle bronze, both in PBs. We saw her again yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before. So she's had a busy programme, and her and her sister swimming really well from Nova.
Yes, I think she actually swam the 100 freestyle, didn't she? which is an interesting one. But that's the double that she had, Freya Colbert, on that, I think it was the first night, wasn't it, where she had to go 200 freestyle first and then 400 IM, won it, came out, had a chat with John Mason down there in the studio, and was full of beans.
Yeah, sometimes, well, definitely for me, after a 400 individual medley, I don't think I had that much energy left. But when you swim well, sometimes you're just buzzing off that adrenaline.
I tell you what, talking about full of beans, if I'd done 400 medley, the beans would not still be settled very well. They'd have been all over the place. But anyway, that's another story. So, the first heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle in this session, and she started really well up there in lane number 5. It is Olivia Kingsland of Nova, coached by Joe Stamford. And she's gone well so far. Tactics for a 400 metres freestyle, Amy?
Slightly different to the 200 and the 800 in terms of if you go too fast in the 800 at the beginning, you can get sort of, well, you'll really struggle at the end of the race. In the 200 freestyle, if you're not out fast enough, you get left behind and there's nothing you can do about it. The 400 slightly more to that middle ground, so if you do make a tiny bit of a mistake at the beginning and don't necessarily get out as fast, you can kind of react to that quite quickly with 300 metres to go. So it's about finding out what your strengths are and using them in this 400 freestyle.
So 100 metres to go, and it looks like just about in lane number 5, Livy Kingsland is ahead of, in 3, Megan Spears of Nova Centurion. So the 2 Nova swimmers going well. And closer to us of those 2 are the green hats closest to us. Megan Spears, well, she swam a pretty canny race here. She was comfortable to the 200, pushed that third 100, but maybe Olivia Kingsland now a little bit easier on the third one and picking it up again.
Yeah, both of these girls kind of playing cat and mouse now into this last 50. So, as I said, it's so important to use your strength in this 400, and we should see a lot of legs down this last 50 from these swimmers.
So here we go then, lane number 5, Olivia Kingsland of Nova, looking very good indeed with 30 metres to go. So 15 metres, 10 metres to go now, and it looks like Olivia Kingsland of Nova Centurion is going to win this first heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. So she's gone 4:27.92, a new season's best for her, a good 2 seconds inside her season's best, Olivia Kingsland, and that's a good swim from her. So Nova in 1 and 2, Megan Spears second, 4:28, the new lifetime best for her. So some really good swimming in the first heat, and that's the way to start the meet, isn't it, on the heats of the 400 freestyle?
Yeah, sometimes being in heat 1, you don't really know what the standard of the event is going to be, so you really try and get in there and sort of set a time and stamp your sort of PB, really. So it's good to see these girls here finishing in season's best, personal best times, and first finishes there in a time of 4:27.92. So next up is heat 7 of this event. We'll see Catherine Bailey in lane 4.
So Catherine on the Scottish junior team prior to COVID, and she is the fastest seed in this heat 7 of 11 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. We'll give you an update on that very first heat of the day. When we saw the women's 50 metres backstroke, we saw a bit of an odd start. Just get this heat going now. This is heat 7 of the women's 400 free. Kathleen Bailey. Kathleen Bailey of Perth City in 4. Amy Monks of Royal Wolverhampton School goes in 5. And Ruby Wheeler of Plymouth Leander in 6.
Yeah, Amy Monks has shot off down the start here. I hope she's realising that it's definitely a 400 freestyle, because her legs are going quite hard down this first length.
Well, there are 3 juniors in this heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Women born 2005 and later are available to be selected for the European Junior Championships. So in lanes 5, 6 and 8. There is a lane 9. So in 5, who's leading at the moment, in the blue hat there, that is Amy Monks. In 6, one up from her is Ruby Wheeler of Plymouth Leander. And then in 8, which is one from the top, in the silver hat of Plymouth Leander, is Amber Downham.
Yeah, the time that they're looking for this morning to achieve that junior consideration time is extremely fast. It's a 4:18.89. So almost 10 seconds under some of these girls' personal best times, but we've seen so many juniors, and in particular in the distance events, come here and drop 4 or 5 seconds in the morning, come back in the evening, drop another 2 or 3 seconds. So it's not unachievable because, as we say, we've had 2-3 years of no competition. So to see athletes back with personal bests that might be a few years old, it's good to see a lot of the athletes taking them down first thing.
So Katie Thompson now taken over in lane number 1 in this heat 7 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Katie Thompson of City of Birmingham, and Nelly Kinch going with her from Nova, another great Nova swimmer. So we saw 2 in the last heat, and they've had a really good meet here. The coach should be very pleased with themselves, the coaching team at Nova. But Katie Thompson just starting to stretch the lead going into this halfway turn. Looks like she's took the first 100 relatively steadily and then picked it up after the 100. That's the 200 turn. Katie Thompson first over under 2:10. 2:78 is quick. So now, can she start picking it up?
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see her split to 100 and then see the drop-off between her first 100 and her second 100. So she looks really strong here, and if she keeps this up, no doubt the PB, an entry time that she set of 2:22.57, should be relatively close to that if she can keep up this pace.
Well, she's looking very strong at the moment, and as long as she doesn't get some serious problems down this second 200, this could be a really impressive swim. Katie Thompson over first. Second at that 250-metre turn is Kathleen Bailey of Perth City. Third, Nelly Kinch of Nova Centurion.
Yeah, Catherine Bailey now in the middle, starting to make her move. She's coached by Anne Dickinson from Perth, so we've had Stephen Milne come from there, and he won a 4x2 silver medal in Rio. So she's under good guidance with Anne up in Perth, and yeah, she looks really good coming into this third 100 turn.
And Anne has been, well, I was going to say been around forever. She's been around a long time, and she's a wonderful coach, super lady, but wonderful coach. Really very, very good, and she's again steering more champions. Catherine Bailey of Perth City, swimming well. She's about 2.5 meters still behind Katie Thompson of Birmingham down in lane number 1 in that white hat. And Katie, well, starting to get caught up a little bit, I think, by Catherine Bailey.
Yeah, it's going to get close now in the last 50 metres here. It'll be who's got the legs. Catherine's gone to her slightly early, and it'd be interesting to see if Katie really turns hers on now.
Well, a very good turn from Katie Thompson, closer to us, and she took maybe another half a metre out of Catherine Bailey of Perth City. And this is going to be good. She was out in a quick time. I think it was just under 2:08, 2:07 point at the 200 metres turn. So this is going to be pretty impressive. And if she can keep this going, what is it going to be around? Something like around 2:20 or so, if she can get in. Keep on going.
Yeah, we're just seeing her coming into the wall now. Really nice leg kick, head down, last few strokes, lovely finish. And finishes there in a time of 4:23.42, so way faster than her entry time and only 1 second outside of her personal best. So really good swim from her, and the smile on her face says it all this morning.
Well done. Well, she is the British Schools biathlon champion. Well, that's really impressive to come in and do the 400 metres freestyle. Often the biathletes are decent swimmers and fantastic runners. So if that's a decent swim, she's a sensational one. That's a fantastic. That must be really good to see come into the British National Championships, not in your main sport, and come and compete in the heats and do something like that. Well done, Katie.
Yeah, with an entry time of 4:28. So, yeah, 4:28.90 was her season's best. So she might have been coming into this not on the best form, not in the best shape, but to achieve that time there is excellent this morning. And Catherine Bailey was just behind her there from Perth in a 4:25.41. So also a personal best time from her.
Yeah, a good 2 seconds under her lifetime best for Kathleen Bailey. Well done. So this is heat 8 of 11 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Only the last 2 heats are cycle seeded in the 400s. 3 heats are cycle seeded for the 50s, the 100s, the 200s. And of course, cycle seeding meaning the fastest seed coming into the meet is in the final heat. The second fastest seed going into the event is in the second last heat in lane 4. And the third fastest on the 50s, 100s and 200s in the third last heat, lane 4. And then they go and fill them back in again at lanes 5, 3, 2, 6, 1. Like that. So Jessica Dickinson of Swansea. Jessica Dickinson in lane number 4. Sophie Main of Mount Kelly goes in 5. She's actually got 2 swims in this session. Very busy, but first to the 50 is Lola Davidson of Derwentside up there in lane number 8.
Yeah, we've seen many girls in these races from the outsides take the lead early on, and I think part of that is because some of them haven't really been at British Championships before in such a long time. So Lucy down in lane 0 is only, is able to qualify for the European Junior Championships. So we're seeing some swimmers post times here that they haven't had the opportunity to race for the last few years.
So the 100-metre turn in this heat 8 of the women's 400 metres freestyle, and Lara Thompson of City of Leeds up there in 7. Well, she's gone out quickly, and I'm sure we'll see her settle down a little bit down this second 100 metres. Also in lane number 2 going well is Jemima Hall of Bath.
Yeah, really good swimming from these girls. A lot of nice long strokes, especially Jemima there. She's got quite a long stroke, so she's breathing to her left every single time, but she's accelerating and gliding really nicely with her right arm.
So that's the 150 turn. It's an 8-length race, this 400 metres freestyle for the women. And that was length 3. Lovely long stroke in lane number 3, in lane number 2, I should say. It's third from the bottom. In 0 is Lucy Fox, closest to us. In 1 is Pearl Griffiths of Guildford City. And then in lane 2, with that blue hat, with the yellow writing on University of Bath, it's Jemima Hall. And this is the halfway turn. So 2:07 has been the fastest split so far. And that 2:08, I think, 2:08.4. So Jemima Hall through first. Second is Lara Thompson of City of Leeds. Third is Lola Davidson of Derwentside. And lanes 2, 7 and 8, interestingly, are leading at the halfway turn. And it's almost an inverted arrow shape. This is slightly unusual.
Yeah, we keep saying that anything can happen in this British Championships. A lot of the entry times, we have season's best that are a lot slower than some of these girls' entry times. So Lola Davidson's PB on paper is a 4:17, we believe. So she's got the capability to swim pretty quick, and she's also one of our junior swimmers. If she can get near that personal best time, she'll be under that junior consideration time of 4:18.89. So interesting to see that our leaders are coming from the outside lanes here.
Still going really well down in 2 is Jemima Hall of University of Bath. And really long, lovely, rangy stroke. Interesting, her left arm goes in slightly short, but then she really still stretches it beautifully forward. 100 metres to go, 3:15.8 at the turn. So that was a 6700 metres, 66 high 100 metres. So if she can repeat that, she's going to be about 4:21 or so. And her lifetime best is 4:21.0. So she's right on her lifetime best if she can bring this home well.
Yeah, the legs are starting to slowly creep in now. A lot of swimmers will leave that sometimes too late, and then we see often almost a sprint finish at the end of the races. But it's good to see Jemima pick that up slightly earlier. And next to her from Nova in lane 3, Anya's really gone to her legs now. And she's made a massive comeback already on this 7th length.
So first to turn with 1 length to go, 50 metres left in this heat 8 of the women's 400 freestyle. Jemima Hall of Bath University turning first in 3:48.87. So if she can bring it home, she's going to be very close indeed to her lifetime best. Now gone to her legs, and this is good discipline. Coming back really quickly, 1 lane up though. Anya Priest of Nova Centurion. Yes, another Nova swimmer in these heats swimming well. But Jemima Hall of University of Bath bringing it home well. Can she get under her lifetime best? It's just going to be right on it. Well, her entry time was 4:26.5, and she's just gone a 4:22.1. So a big season's best for her, and that's a super swim in the morning heats of the women's 400 freestyle.
Yeah, really nice, and she's of the age to be in that Priority Paris final tonight. Some of these swimmers who are almost in that Priority Paris age group were the swimmers that didn't really have access to pools during COVID, weren't necessarily the fastest junior swimmers or the fastest senior swimmers. So we're kind of in that middle ground, and we're seeing some of these athletes come in with PBs that are a lot faster than this season's best, but that's because they haven't had the opportunity to race over the last couple of years or train consistently.
So Jemima Hall winning it And there, of course, is Holly Hibbett in that pink hat. Multiple World Championship finalists in the 400 and 800 metres freestyle. Swam in the 200 fly and swam well the other night. Looks like lane 1 has withdrawn, Isla McIntosh. So the 9th heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. The last of the unseeded heats. Normally the last 3 seats are seeded, but in the 400s they only cycle seed the last 2. And so lane 1 is not here. Lane 0 is, of course, Alicia Dingle. Nobody in lane 1 and nobody up the top there in 9 either.
Yeah, we're missing some of our junior swimmers here this morning, but Laura Hodgson in lane 7 is our only remaining junior swimmer in this heat this morning.
So that means Laura can qualify for the European Junior Championships. Her lifetime best 4:25.2, and the consideration time is 4:18.8. So that's a really tough consideration time for the juniors for the 400 free. But as we've seen here so far, nothing is impossible. And closest to us, Alicia Dingle of Loughborough University, gone out really well. And she'll be first to turn up the 100, I think. But very measured, very long, rangy stroke. Beautiful freestyle stroke.
Yeah, in 400 freestyle in particular, you want to find that lovely, comfortable middle ground stroke that's not slow, but it's not too, doesn't take up too much energy. So you want to get into a nice rhythm. And for me, the first 100, used to think about that easy speed. So getting out as fast as you can, but saving as much energy as possible. And then the second 100, you want to almost carry that momentum. And I used to think about using my arms quite a lot on that length. Not necessarily the speed of my stroke rate, but really getting hold of the water and being nice and powerful. And towards the end of the race, 300, 400 is when the legs really start to come in.
So Jess Podger, well, if the legs start coming in at the 300-400 metre mark, these women are going to be going really well, because look at the leg kick of both 3 and 4 and 5. Really impressive. Jess Podger in 3 from Loughborough University. In 4, it's Charlotte Wynne-Jones of University of Bath and Shannon Stott of Hatfield in lane 5. And those 3 so far looking very impressive, going into the halfway turn. And their legs are really, they've worked them well down the first 200. Let's hope they've got something left, Amy.
Yeah, we've seen Jess Podger in a few events this week, and I believe she's had quite a few good swims. So she's obviously on good form, and that season's best of 4:23.45 she'll be looking to take down this morning, I'm sure.
Well, she was pretty comfortable to the 150 mark, but then started going a little bit quicker into the 200-metre turn. And Jess Podger from Loughborough University, looking very good indeed at the moment. Still hanging on, though, and hanging on well, is the green suit in lane 4 is Charlotte Wynne-Jones of Bath, and just stalking her, and she's in an interesting place here. Jess Podger just moved over to this side of the lane, so she doesn't give a toe to Charlotte Wynne-Jones. Interesting, that, isn't it, that in swimming you can actually swim right on the lane line and actually drag someone else along if they're in the correct spot.
Yeah, if you're in the lane next to somebody who's just in front of you and you can sit on their hip, you'll get what we call a little bit of a draft. We saw Duncan Scott use that massively at the World Championships a few years ago. He saw Dressel dive in, moved right over almost onto the lane rope, sat on his wave, and at the end of the day came through and finished over the top of his competitors. So it can make a massive difference, and more so in the events where the guys are bigger and the waves are bigger.
Well, I'm very impressed here, Amy, because you did say that the best women will go to their legs in the last 100, 150, 200, and they've done. I didn't think it was possible to turn it up because they were really working them hard. But look at this. This looks like the end of a 100-metre sprint. They've still got 50 to go here, but this is really impressive and a great battle now.
Yeah, sometimes the error can be that you go to your legs too early. The race is won on the last 10, 15 metres of the race, so you want to turn at 300 and turn them on, but if you turn them on too big too soon and you can't sort of hold that for the whole 100, then that's when it really starts to hurt.
Well, Jess Podger has swam really well. She's still holding on. Shannon Stott now from Hatfield having a go at her in the pink hat up there, but it looks like Jess Podger may well hold on in this, the 9th heat, the last of the unseeded heats. 9 of 11 of the women's 400 freestyle. Jess Podger has done it. Loughborough University, her time 4:20.8, and well inside her season's best of 4:23.4. So well done her. Good swim to win heats 9 of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Second was Shannon Stott of Hatfield. Third, Charlotte Wynne-Jones of Bath University.
Yeah, the three girls in the middle paced that really well. As I said, they didn't get too excited too soon. They saved that little bit of energy and were really able to work those legs down that whole last 100 metres. And all girls under their season's entry time of a season's best and close to PBs.
Well, I think Shannon Stott might have actually hit a PB there. 4:23.3 was her best, and she's gone 4:21.9. So well done her for that. Heat 10 of 11, the first of the seeded heats in this women's 400 metres freestyle. And interesting to see Freya Anderson in the 400 at the National Championships. There's the fastest seed. Freya Colbert goes in as the fastest seed in this women's 400 free. Heat 10, one more heat, of course, and Holly Hibbett, the fastest seed coming into the whole meet. And Freya in 4, won a bronze on the 200 metres freestyle, got out of that, swam down, got back ready to go, won gold on the 400 IM on the first night. What a start she had to the meet.
Yeah, she had a really good day one, and she should have a lot of confidence coming into this 400 freestyle that she's capable of doing a really good 200 freestyle and then backing it up with a 400 individual medley, which not everybody can do. So these three girls in the centre lanes here out a lot faster than we've seen in the heat before.
So in lane number 4 then, it is at the moment Joe Jackson. I was just about to talk about Joe Jackson. It is Freya Colbert. Colbert in 4, and she's leading and looks pretty comfortable at the moment. In 5, it's Freya Anderson in the black hat. Lovely, long, rangy stroke. A really good sprint freestyler. And we should talk a little bit about Freya moving up in distance, because she's a wonderful 100 metres freestyle. Very, very good 200 as well. And started adding the 400 to her programme.
Yeah, she's got such a lovely long stroke. It's almost perfect for 400 freestyle. She'll probably not enjoy me saying that, because Dave McNulty will probably be listening going, yep, let's get her in everything now. But she's just got a lovely stroke. She's not over-revving it. She doesn't overrate, and it almost looks like Freya could swim at this lovely, long, controlled pace for a 400 or an 800. And obviously, we know she's working harder than it looks, but if you're looking to replicate freestyle technique, you want to be as long as possible in the water and maximise what you've got.
And it is very deceptive, because if you blanked everyone else out and just looked at Freya Anderson's stroke there, very long, very measured, very efficient, not kicking her legs particularly hard. And if you looked at that on its own, you'd think, well, she's just going for a nice, easy swim. She's going really quick.
Yeah, she's just got that technique, as we say, that looks so effortless, and that's what you want, especially in distance freestyle swimming. It wants to look like you're not really working hard, but underneath the water, you're really pulling and getting hold of that. And Freya's turned there at 200 metres, and she's starting to bring those legs in a little bit now.
So Freya is in 4. One lane closer to us in 3 is Tamarin Van Selm of Millfield School. Was 8th on the 100 free and 5th on the 200. And it's looking really nice here. Now, Freya Anderson has just made a really big move, probably taken about 2 metres out of Freya Colbert, the leader, on that, just on this 50, and she's just upped the pace significantly.
Yeah, she came off that wall there and really thought, I'm going to turn the legs on a little bit now, and that's the difference you can make massively in 400 freestylers. If you've not used your legs, and as soon as you go to them, you can just catch 1, 2, 3 metres quite quickly in this race.
And it's probably quite important to make sure that you're not, certainly one of the big guys, not 4th in a seeded heat, because if 5 from the next heat come through, then you won't make the final if they're quicker than you. And I think Freya Anderson has decided 200 metres easy, and then pretty clear race tactics. Often we can't work it out, but hers, I think, are pretty easy to read, aren't they?
Yeah, there was a lot of times when I used to swim 400 freestyle that I'd try and negative split the race. So I'd try and go out nice and controlled over the first 200 and then see how fast I could come back. And obviously I wouldn't be doing that if the event was really important, but for Freya in the heat, she's got the opportunity to maybe try a few new things, and it looked like she did almost do 200 nice and controlled, and then 200 where she's working a bit harder.
Well, the first 4 looking pretty good, and in theory 4 from this heat and 4 from the next heat should go to the final, but it's all on times, and so the swimmers in the last heat, Heat 11 of this 400 free, will be watching this very carefully. And Freya Anderson, well, swam a really canny race, let the others do the work for the first 200 metres and then just turn it up. Will she be watching? She's breathing to her right. Will she know where the others are?
She might have a little bit of an idea, but a lot of the time it's about swimming your own race plan, so she'll just be focusing on that.
Well, this has ended up being a very tight finish indeed. It looks like Anderson may get it. She's got real long arms. She did just. In fact, no, she didn't. Tamron van der Selm got the touch. 4:14.79. 4:15.0 was second. That was Anderson. Third was Freya Colbert, 4:15.2. And 4:15.5 was Mia Slevin of Deventio. She came back well. So the top four, 4:15.5. That's the target for the next heat to try and beat. And
yeah. Sorry, both Tamron and Mia came back really well there. So PB from Tamron in lane 3. Her entry time was 4:16.17, and she's just dropped a 4:14.79. So really good swim from her this morning to just take the edge from Freya Anderson, who finished second in 4:15.05.
And the final heat, the women's 400 metres freestyle. And Holly Hibbett, the fastest seed. Leah Crisp, gold medalist, British national champion on the 800 metres freestyle earlier this week. She goes in 5. And Ella Dyson in 6. So Hibbett in 4, Crisp in 5, Ella Dyson in 6. And up in lane number 9, right at the very top, should also mention Ashley Bailey of City of Sheffield. They're having a great meet here. They've certainly got plenty of supporters for the final because they sit right next to us and they're very loud. But it's working for them. And Ashley Bailey up in lane number 9, born in 2006, so she is a junior, won the juniors 400 metres freestyle, got a bronze on the 400 metres freestyle as a junior, a bronze in the seniors as a junior. Very good.
Yeah, really good from her. She's having a fantastic meet, and as we said, when you're swimming well and your teammates are swimming well, it can really pull you through. And her and Amber in lane 8 and 9, they'll be looking to use each other to get the best out of both of their swims this morning.
And the 400 metres freestyle, I think, is actually the most successful event in British women's swimming, certainly the World Championships, but all-time rankings for British women in the 400 metres freestyle. If we got 1 in the world rankings all time, we're pretty happy. We've got 3 in the top 10 all time. Any ideas who they are?
I'm going to go with Jo Jackson, most obvious one, our British record holder.
Yeah, Jo Jackson, good spot. Jo Jackson 4th. And actual fact, when she swam that, I think it was a world record when she swam it. And Jo Jackson actually was coached back then in 2009 by Kev Renshaw, who's actually just been made the distance lead for British swimming. So they've added a little bit of a focus, or a serious focus, if Kev Renshaw's doing it, on distance freestyle, just to make sure that we can really bring the distance swimming through. And I think he will do a super job. He's been fantastically helpful to us this week. But so he's the lead on the pathway for British swimming, but also on distance, the new distance lead. And he coached Jo Jackson through to that wonderful world record back in 2009. So we've got Jo Jackson as one of the top 10 all time. Any other ideas?
We'll go with our ex-Nova swimmer. So no wonder these Nova swimmers are swimming well in this 400 freestyle. Rebecca Adlington. I would imagine so. 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the 400 and the 800 freestyle. Yes,
indeed. We'll just say that Holly Hibbett's turning in first place at the halfway mark in this final heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle. Also going very well is Amber Keegan up there from City of Sheffield. And in 8 and 9, the top 2 lanes, 2 more City of Sheffield swimmers. They're having a great meet, they are. Keegan was 5th on the 400 free. And Ashley Bailey in 9, the junior, was a bronze medalist on the 800 metres freestyle, so really good swimming from them. But Holly Hibbett looking good here. Holly Hibbett and Leah Crisp in 4 and 5. And they're pretty strong down this third 100 metres and starting to turn up the pressure again.
Yeah, we know both Holly and Leah have got really good back ends to their race. Holly we saw on the 200 fly, had an excellent finish. Leah we saw swim a really evenly paced 800 metre freestyle at the beginning of the week.
So 100 metres to go at this turn here, and it looks like Leah Crisp has just taken over from Holly Hibbett. Big breath from Hibbett off that turn, breathe to the left and then straight away to the right. So Crisp is leading, Hibbett second. Up there is Amber Keegan in 3rd place. So we've had Jo Jackson, 4th fastest still ever, time set 13 years ago, back in 2009. And she's 4th fastest, 6th fastest in history, Rebecca Adlington. Well, she won Olympic gold in Beijing. Our 3rd one in the top 10.
Jazz Carlin, silver medalist from the Rio Olympics.
Yes, good spot, Amy Wilmot. Jazz Carlin, 2 silver she got, didn't she? Silver on the 4, silver on the 8. And both to be just the most amazing, the greatest distance swimmer, I think, in history.
Yeah, I was in Rio watching those swims, and I was really emotional to see Jazz get those silver medals. She'd had glandular fever a couple of years before, missed out on all sorts of competitions, so to see someone swim so well, it's just really nice.
So this final heat of the women's 400 metres freestyle, it was 4:15 won the last one. It's a 4:16 this time, so there's going to be very tightly bunched. 2 4:16s and a 4:17 here. Leah Crisp wins it, 4:16.15. Holly Hibbert was second. Third was Amber Keegan. Fourth, Beatrice Varley. And fifth, Ashley Bailey, the junior, 4:20.67. Just outside the consideration time.
Yeah, hopefully tonight she'll be back in one of those A, B finals, Priority Paris or junior finals. So she's got lots of opportunity to be in one of those 4 swims tonight. And 4:18.89, I'm sure it'll be what she'll be aiming for tonight when she comes back.
So it's going to be tight, a really tight final, really bunched up. 4:15s, we'll see the qualifiers. Here we go. So that was heat 11. Crisp wins it 4:16.1, but Hibbert, Keegan, Varney. And who's in? Well, look at this. So it's a 4:14, then there's 3 4:15s, there's 2 4:16s. Top 8 get through, and Ashley Bailey, the junior, just outside that, finishing in 9th, so she'll be in the B final. But look at that. Van Selm, Anderson, Colbert. It's going to be such a tight final. Top 16 in the B. And then we start filling up the Priority Paris final. And then there's the junior final as well for the younger swimmers. Priority Paris swimmers born 2001 and younger. And then the junior final. So that's the women's 400 metres freestyle. Next up is the men's 200 medley. And this is going to be really, really interesting. One, to see how Duncan Scott can come back after that incredible 400 medley. And two, for me, really interesting, see how Tom Dean does. Double Olympic champion in 200 metres freestyle on the 4x2 free relay. But here he's going to do what he really sees, right at the back there, just by that pull-up bar, just swinging his arms in the grey top with the black arms. That's Tom Dean, double Olympic champion. Interesting, his demeanour here. He's still got about, 15 minutes to swim, and he's just nice and chilled.
Yeah, he's getting in that racing mindset, thinking about what he's going to do. Maybe going through his race plan in his head, staying nice and relaxed.
The 5th heat of the men's 200 medley, heats 1 to 4, will be swum this afternoon. And the fastest seed coming into this is Tom Robinson of Aberdeen Performance. In 5, really good junior, Oscar Bilbao has had a fantastic meet so far. He's still very young. He's almost, what is he, a year young? 2 years young maybe for the European juniors. Won the junior 400 metres individual medley final.
Yeah, he also won the 200 breaststroke last night, so I'm sure we'll see him on the team this summer for the European Youth Olympic Festival.
Well, he's certainly put himself bang in contention for that. I think the selection policy is if you're the fastest junior on a 200-metre event, fly back breast free, the fastest of the right age group, then you will be selected for the European Youth Olympic Festival in the 200s or the 400 medley.
Yeah, they take a lot of distance swimming, distance focus when they're slightly younger. They can always come down and work on the 100s and the 50s as they get older, but the focus is always around 200s, especially at that age.
So a good fly, slightly less strong backstroke for lane number 5, Oscar Bilbao. He's turned in about 6th, 7th position there, but he's got a very, very good breaststroke. And I think, Amy, you said then he won the 200 metres breaststroke junior final last night.
Yeah, he had a really good swim there, and I think it was a PB as well.
So he's in the red hat and the higher of those 2 yellow lanes in the centre. In lane number 5, going very well is Simon Robson of York City Bath Club. In lane number 6, and also well in lane 2, Theo Clark of Sheffield.
Yeah, these boys here getting nice and tight round that breast to freestyle turn. Legs straight off the wall, bang, bang, bang with those butterfly kicks, and you want to be driving them now. You can't afford to wait and save your legs on the end of a 2 IM until the very last minute.
So in lane number 6, it is Simon Robson of York City Bath Club, going well, and he's really bringing it home. This is an impressive swim, really quick in 3 as Edward Marcel Whittles of Chelsea Westminster, his last 50, lightning. So 6 wins it, David Miller. David Miller wins it. 2nd is Reece Grady. I'm going to apologise. I think we've been calling the wrong swimmers on that. We had it as heat 6. It's actually heat 5, so I do apologise for that. David Miller of Bath University winning it. So, well, thank goodness, Oscar Bilbao, Tom Robinson, they don't have to swim again. They're in this heat. I do apologise for that. We had the wrong sheet in front of us.
We're back now, don't worry.
So we're now back, and we do have Oscar Bilbao, and we do have Tom Robinson, we do have Oscar Barlow. So heat 6 of the men's 200 medley, and the fastest seed in this one, heat 6, it is heat 6, it is Tom Robinson, and he is in lane 4, and Oscar Bilbao is in lane 5, and he did win the 400 IM junior final, and in 7 is Oscar Barlow.
Yeah, these boys in lane 4 and 3 here gone out really nicely on the butterfly leg. We keep speaking about saving energy in some of our events at the beginning of the race, and 200 IM's no different. If you're really strong on the butterfly, you want to use that to your advantage, but you don't want to be going down there using all your energy, thinking, I'm really good at this length, so I'll work it, and then you burn out and you've not got much for the rest of the race.
And Edward Marcel Whittles of Chelsea Westminster is in lane 3 in the blue hat. Lovely still head, really nice backstroke, very strong. But look at lane 0, Connor Cherrington of Millfield School. He's over first, and over first by a quarter of a second. A really good first 100 from him. Let's see his breaststroke right at the bottom there. Decent breaststroke.
Yeah, breaststroke can make such a big difference in medley swimming. Less so in the 200 medley, but just as important to make sure that you can hold ground, hold that water at the front, and as you're driving, extending and kicking those legs together, that you're doing the same at the front of the stroke.
So lane 0, Connor Cherrington of Millfield School. He is a junior, born in 2006, so he's really young. He's swimming really well. This is a great swim from him. Turning first with 50 to go. Let's hope he's got a freestyle and he can bring it home, because this is impressive. Cherrington first to turn. Second is Edward Marcel Whittles of Chelsea Westminster in lane number 3. And third, Oscar Bilbao of Hereford in 5.
Yeah, nice to see these boys here really working down the last length. I think Connor in lane 0 is just about hanging on now.
Well, he's breathing to his left, he's breathing to the wall side, so he can't see the other guys at all, but he's concentrating on his own race, and this is really impressive. Lifetime best is 2:11.26, 2:11.26, and he's just gone 2:09.34. He was third in the end, Connor Cherrington, just got caught up, but a huge lifetime best for him. 2-second PB, well done, sir, on the outside. But the winner from York City, Simon Robson, 2:09.22. Oscar Bilbao, 2:09.29. And look how close it was. 12/100ths of a second split those first 3.
Yeah, I think the first 4 swimmers in this race have all finished under a personal best time. So they've really pulled the best out of each other. They know they've had to get in, swim fast this morning if they want to make it back in one of those 4 finals.
Look how close it was. 2:09.22, 2:09.29, 2:09.34.
In fact, I think 6 swimmers in that race there finished with a PB.
And there's Duncan Scott. Look at him in the orange and purple suit. Just come in, all right?
Give us a wave.
Oi, oi. He looked very relaxed indeed, didn't he? he's laughing in the call room. Good man. So nobody in lane 5 for this heat 7 of the men's 200 metres individual medley. We'll be seeing Duncan Scott in the final heat, and he's got Mark Sharanek, his teammate, right next to him, so they'll be in 4 and 5. This is heat 7 of 11 heats of the 200 medley, and Anthony Whittle of City of Manchester, the fastest seed, possibly Fastest down this first 50 metres, though, maybe Jan Poulton of Wickham District in 3. It's pretty close. It looks like maybe 2. Yeah, it is 2, excuse me, Jan Poulton of Wickham District.
Yeah, Wickham District this week have had a really good week, coached by Kevin Brooks. They've been in a wide variety of events, medley, freestyle, backstroke. So it's nice, as we keep saying, when your teammates are doing well, you can roll off that.
Well, he's of junior age as well, and he looks very good here. Lovely, long, rangy backstroke. Well, certainly the Wickham guys focusing on technique, so important for age groupers, and this really is a cracking-looking backstroke. He's 18 years of age, is Jan Poulton, and he's first to turn. So Poulton over first in lane 2 for Wickham District. Second, Joshua Vance of Northampton. Third up in 3 is Elijah Kendrick of Plymouth. Now the charge on, and he's got a good breaststroke here, the Wickham swimmer too.
Yeah, I'm always interested when somebody goes out so fast on the first front half of the medley to see what their breaststroke is like, but he's holding his own here coming down this 50 breast.
They're just starting to wind it up, though. Look up there in 7, 6 and 7. The green hat of Millfield School, Wyatt Walsh, was 4th in the Priority Paris final in the 400 medley. This the shorter one, the 200 medley. He's had a cracking breaststroke leg there, really powerful.
Yeah, really quick split. I wish I knew what he turned into 100 there.
Well, that was an amazing leg. Look at his freestyle as well. The leg kick here is really strong.
Yeah, it's so important that these swimmers don't over-egg it at the beginning, and he's obviously a really good breast to free swimmer, and he's using that now to his advantage.
So it is in lane number 6. It's Wyatt Walsh, his lifetime best 2:09.86. Oh, he's crashed it. Absolutely smashed it. 2:06.8 from a 2:09.8. 3-second lifetime best for Wyatt Walsh of Millfield School. Well done, sir. That is awesome. Wow.
Really impressive. You hope to achieve any PB, never mind a PB by almost 3 seconds.
2:06.8. So his lifetime best was 2:09.8. Doesn't bother with the 2:08s, doesn't bother with the 2:07s, straight to 2:06. Goodness me, there's Duncan again at the front. Nice socks, Duncan. Look at that. Wow. Wonder if he can hear us. Duncan, those socks are crackers. Matching with his swimsuit. You think he did that this morning?
I don't know, but Mark needs to give his orange trainers to Duncan, and then he'll be all orange.
Mark Sharanek will be in the next lane to him. Actually, I don't know what size Mark's feet are, but he's got massive feet. It'd be quite interesting to swap, wouldn't it? See him walking down the pool side like that would be hilarious. But anyway, there we go. Lane 4 in this heat 8 of the men's 200 medley is Theo Cannon. He's had a really good meet so far. I think this is his 2nd swim today. I'm not sure. I think it is, but he just keeps on popping up and swimming really well for City of Cambridge. Yeah,
he's got a fantastic fly here, and he's using this really well. Little bit long into that wall there, but if you can get round that fly to back turn nice and tight, it gives you a massive spring, but his underwater work really nice there, holding 10 metres off the turn. Also going well down in lane number 1, next to lane 0. Lane number 1 is Nathan Wells of West Norfolk. And Nathan's backstroke very strong. 1 lane up from him, as well as Solomon Williams of Millfield School, who's just seen his teammate go from a 2:09 to a 2:06. So he was 2 seconds behind on lifetime best. Now he's a second ahead. Let's see what Solomon can do in 2. And I would imagine, can you imagine your teammate going 3 seconds faster than lifetime best and going from 2 seconds slower than you to a second ahead, and you're on the blocks next race? Yeah, you're stood there thinking, right, I need to get a PB now because I want to be back ahead of you.
Well, he's having a good crack. He's in 2nd place down the bottom here. The leader is Nathan Wells. Solomon Williams next to him. Also going really well right at the top, the junior Isaac Dodds of City of Leicester. So 2 juniors in 2nd and 3rd here. Well, just about 2nd and 3rd. Also coming through really well in 6 is Ben Cope of City of Sheffield. So first to turn with 50 metres to go. Right at the top there, it's Isaac Dodds of City of Leicester. 2nd towards the bottom in lane 1, Nathan Wells of West Norfolk, and 3rd, Ben Cope in 6.
Yeah, Nathan Wells, we know, really has a really good freestyle, and he's using that now. Big legs, breathing every 2, 3, 4, just trying to hold his breath as he comes into the wall.
Well, this is really impressive from Wells. Really is. He's going to be right on his lifetime best, but a massive season's best. 2:09.1 was his season's best, and he's just gone 2:05.9. That really is a good swim. Come to the National Championships, 4 seconds underneath your season best. That's how to do it.
Yeah, Ben Cope as well, finishing second there in a 2:06.49, 2 seconds under his season's best and his entry time. So both of these boys doing really well.
Wells wins Heat 8 of the men's 200 medley, 2:05.9, wins it comfortably, half a second ahead of Ben Cope. Dodds was third, Ray was fourth from Wrexham.
Here he is, Tom Dean.
Fascinating guy. Olympic champion, 200 free, Olympic champion, 4x2 free relay. And he's a great medley swimmer. Next to him, Evan Jones in 3, 1 lane closer to us. Qualified for the European Juniors on the 400 medley. This is better as 200. But that in the centre, the Olympic rings tattooed on his left arm, it is Tom Dean of Bath University, coached by Dave McNulty, and what an Olympics he had.
Yeah, he's had so many swimmers in the past swimming lots of events at Olympic level, so it was nice to see him finally get some medals at the Olympics and have his most successful games ever as well.
It must be interesting as well for Tom Dean, because he's a really good medley swimmer. He also swam a fantastic 100 metres freestyle, got silver medal on the 100 metres freestyle when Lewis Burris won that 47.88, a ridiculous time that was. And his best event is tomorrow, and really looking forward to the head-to-head on that, where, of course, we've got Olympic gold and silver going in the same race. The 200 metres freestyle Olympic gold medalist here, Tom Dean, and he'll be against Duncan Scott, the Olympic silver medalist on that 200 metres freestyle, and I think they may well be next lanes to each other in the final tonight as well on this 200 medley.
Yeah, they'll be fed up of seeing each other side by side in these finals, but Tom there had a really nice butterfly backstroke leg. We know he's technically got quite a nice breaststroke as well. He's another one of these swimmers with 4 good all-round strokes.
Well, ominous for the rest of the field if he's ahead, this far ahead after the breaststroke leg, because he's Olympic champion, 200 metres freestyle. I can't see too many catching him in this heat on the freestyle leg. And look at this, he's swimming away and swimming away well.
Yeah, his breaststroke looks really nice here. It's super long, looks effortless, and we know it isn't, but he's just taking chunks out of everybody else.
Well, he's going to be pretty close to his lifetime best, you know. He's got to come back in pretty much, I think, at 27 seconds to go a PB here. And it wouldn't be, it's not impossible to do that. It's quite tough, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I think Duncan came back 28 in his 400 medley, so for these boys to come back 27 point is definitely not impossible, but yeah, it's tough.
Goodness me, he looks good. Look at that, look at his legs, look at that drive. The Olympic champion on the 200 metres freestyle wins heat 9 of the men's 200 medley. The time 2 minutes, 0.2, just outside 2 minutes, but a great swim from him. And second was Evan Jones of Millfield School, the junior. He's just gone 2:04.5, so he's just outside the consideration time for the European juniors on the 200 medley, made it on the 400, so he certainly should be going.
Yeah, another nice swim there from Evan. He'll be back in one of these finals, no doubt, tonight, and he'll have that time of 2:03.79 on his mind. But Tom Dean there, finishing first in a time of 2 minutes, 0.21. Not with the greatest finish either, so tonight he's just got a couple of things to sharpen up, and I'm sure he's got lots more in the tank.
Well, he was a prolific junior in the 200 AM. I think he medalled at European Juniors 200 AM. I need to check that, but I think he did. Second last heat, heat 10 of the men's 200 medley. James McFadden of Loughborough in 4, the fastest seed. In 5, it's Jacob Greenow, was a bronze medalist on the 400 medley. Some quick swimmers in this, though. Now, I wonder what they're going to be thinking. They've just seen a 2 minutes flat for that last heat. Slightly better than the lifetime best of most of these swimmers. Only James McFadden's gone faster in 4.
Yeah, out really well here in those centre lanes and that black hat in lane 4. We know James has got a really good, another one of these swimmers, sorry, that's got good 4 strokes, an all-round medley swimmer. And if he's anywhere near you on the breaststroke, then you're going to be thinking, oh, he's going to come back again on this freestyle.
Can you imagine swimming a 200 medley final and you're swimming the breaststroke leg with Duncan Scott coming back at you, Olympic silver medalist 200 free, and Tom Dean coming back at you, Olympic gold medalist 200 free. You'd need to be about 10 metres ahead after the breaststroke leg, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we saw that even at the Olympics last summer. Freestyle swimming is so important in that 200 medley. It was Michael Andrews was slightly ahead at Duncan Scott to 100. Duncan reeled him in, and then you know you've got absolutely no chance when he's next to you on the last length.
So James McFadden looking good, and he's already practicing, making sure he's out as far ahead as he can on the breaststroke leg for the final this evening, because he's going to have a decent lead if he's going to stay ahead of Duncan Scott and Tom Dean in that final. But this is very, very impressive. James McFadden looking really good here. And it'll be fascinating to see how close he can get to 2 minutes. I think he could well get underneath it, you know. He's got to come back in, what, 29.5 to go sub 2 minutes. I think he can.
Yeah, it's difficult as well. He is so far clear ahead of the rest of the field, but he looks nice and controlled here. He'll know those two boys probably won't be giving it full beans this morning, so I want to make sure he saves a little bit so he's got something extra tonight.
So McFadden in 4, looks like he's easing off a little bit down this last 50. Doesn't need to push it too much. He's going to be just outside 2 minutes, 2:01 maybe, 2:01.81. So McFadden wins the second last heat of the men's 200 medley. Jacob Greenhouse second from Bath. Third was Thomas Payne of Manchester, and fourth, Joel Thompson of Chivers. Yeah, thumbs up, pretty happy there.
Yeah, it didn't look too difficult, as we said this morning. It was a nice controlled swim. He's also coming back tonight. He'll have Duncan Scott, he'll have Tom Dean, but he'll also be after that English consideration time for the Commonwealth Games this summer, 1:58.86. So it'll be pretty quick from these swimmers tonight. And here he is, Duncan Scott.
So Duncan Scott going in the final heat of the men's 200 medley and set a time to win the gold medal in the 400 medley. That was a Commonwealth record, British record. Would have won the Olympics, the 400 medley. I'll say that one more time. The time that Duncan Scott won the 400 medley here at the National Championships would have won the Olympic Games in Tokyo on the 400 IM. Unbelievable. And straight up, he's a great fly swimmer, isn't he? Look at that beautiful fly.
Yeah, really interesting as well that he spoke about that 400 medley, and it was probably maybe a 6th or 7th long course swim I think he's done in the last few years in that 400 individual medley event. So he's naturally talented, and he has 4 technically really good strokes, really tight skills, and showing us there with 11 metres off that backstroke turn. And above him, Mark also had a great turn there.
So Scott's in 4 and 5. That's Duncan Scott, 6 times Commonwealth medalist, 4 times Olympic medalist in Tokyo. He's actually got 6 Olympic medals. He won 2 in Rio as well, amazing.
Yeah, any Olympic medal's amazing, but to come away with 6 across your swimming career when you haven't even finished yet is phenomenal. And he's just got a talent in everything. He swims 100 freestyle, 200 IM, 400 IM, 200 free. So he's world class in a number of events, not just 1 or 2.
He's also a good 100 flyer. He's also a good 200 flyer. He swam the 50 breaststroke here. Sharanek having a good go at him now in lane number 5. His teammate swims in Florida, went to Florida, University of Florida, swam with Caleb Dressel over there. Great mates with Caleb Dressel. And I think his brother's a coach over there, isn't he?
Yeah, Jack's still out there. And I know both of those boys really enjoyed being out in America, but the training that they've had at the University of Stirling, and Duncan and Mark have really been able to push each other over the last couple of years, especially.
So Sharanek in 5, Duncan Scott just leading in the red suit in 4, and he looks very comfortable. He swam a little bit like this in the heats of the 400, didn't he? Really, really within himself.
Yeah, he looks so easy there. He's not had the best preparation, as he said, off the back of an Olympic year, taking his time, but he looks really controlled this morning.
Well, if he's not had the best, look at that freestyle, look at the catch. Utterly beautiful stroke. Duncan Scott, well, absolutely amazing. Steve Tigg, his coach, has done a super job. Look at his breathing. Yep. What else should we do? Should we have another go? Turn around and do it again? He's actually done quite a lot more training in his taper than he normally does. More yardage, more meterage in his taper than he has done. And it's working really well. Duncan Scott wins the final heat, the men's 200 medley, 2:01.99. Very, very comfortable. Sharanek second, Ben Harrison third. How impressive was that?
Yeah, looked really easy this morning, really comfortable. Sometimes we underestimate when you see a swimmer finish and you think, oh, they don't look too puffed out there, but he did look really nice. And those 3 boys there, Tom Dean, 2 minutes, 0.2, McFadden, 2:01.8, followed by Duncan in that final tonight, 2:01.99. And a couple of our junior swimmers down in 6 will be after that time of 2:03.79 tonight to make that European junior team.
Indeed they will. What a final that's going to be. Make sure you do join us. I think it's 5:45 start for us is the pre-show, and then 6 o'clock the races will start. But make sure you watch that final because it's going to be an absolute cracker. Tom Dean, head-to-head with Duncan Scott, Olympic gold and silver on the 200 free, swimming the 200 medley. And Duncan Scott's 400 medley would have won the Olympic Games the time that he set here to win the national title. A new Commonwealth record for him on that. What a fight. It's going to be intriguing. Intriguing, Amy.
Very intriguing to him indeed.
Did you prefer the 200 or the 400 medley? That was the 200. Did you prefer the 2 or the 4?
I preferred the 400, but the 200 today, we've got obviously some of these girls in the call room. Siobhan Marie O'Connor did the 2 and the 4, and I know she definitely preferred the 2, and she is our British record holder in this event.
I love seeing the different reactions to seeing themselves on the television. It's really interesting, isn't it? Some people just don't care, and some people get all giggly. It's hilarious. So we've just seen the men doing the 200 metres individual medley. Now it's the women's turn, and there's going to be 2 heats in this afternoon session. So we join heat 3 here, the first of our heats, heat 3 of 9 in this women's 200 medley, and the fastest seed is Millie Checkley of City of Birmingham. Sophie Maynan again in lane 2, the second event in this session. And up in lane 7, Katie Lee, 13 years of age. Goodness me.
Yeah, there's a couple of young swimmers in this event, Katie and Holly Wilson in lane 9. So they've got the opportunity to qualify for the European Youth Olympics here. So the fastest of those 2 girls, if there isn't any coming up just behind them, post the fastest time, gives them the best chance of being on that team this summer.
Well, certainly the fastest butterfly swimmer down in lane 0, Louise Jones of Royal Wolverhampton School. Very good backstroker in the centre, though. Really powerful, strong, very good backstroke is Rachel Bradley of Borough of Stockton in the centre, and she's going to turn first just about at the halfway turn. She does. So Rachel Bradley first, Rue Fowler up in lane 8, turning second. Third closest to us is Louise Jones of Royal Wolverhampton.
Yeah, this race really spread out. These girls trying to come back on this breaststroke. We'll see a couple of strong swimmers throughout this race really work that breaststroke, and often in medley swimming the field is so split because of the differences in strengths from fly to back to breast to freestyle. So we're starting to see this field tighten up a little bit coming into this freestyle turn now.
Well, also charging on the breaststroke leg is up in lane number 6 here, Ella Mckeever of Camden Swiss Cottage. She's a junior, so she can qualify for the European Junior Championships. It's a tough time, it really is. 2:17.5. Well, if she's going to do that, she's going to have to do a massive lifetime best, but she's swimming well here. This is really impressive from the Camden swimmer in lane number 6, Ella Mckeever. Also going well still right at the bottom is Louise Jones. She held on well on the breaststroke. And also going well in lane 7 is the 13-year-old. And that yellow hat up the top there, Katie Lee. Katie Lee of Salford, 13 years of age. She was 10 when COVID came along. So she was a club swimmer when COVID arrived. She's just won heat 3, the first heat of the national championships in the 200 medley, the 13-year-old. And she's coached by Danielle Naylor. What a great swim, 2:25.57, new lifetime best, winning heat 1. She was 10 the last time the national championships were on.
Yeah, it makes me feel old, but look at the smile on her face there. She's obviously really enjoyed that swim. Sometimes you think, oh, it's tough, I'm a bit further behind, can I catch up? But she looks so chuffed with herself, and to finish in a personal best time in the heats of the British Championships, of course she would be.
That is really impressive. 13. 2:25.5. Louise Jones second, Sophie Maynan is third. So that's the first of the heats in this session of the women's 200 medley. There are 9 heats in total, and we'll be seeing Britain's Abby Wood, Olympic finalist, very, very nearly Olympic medalist in this 200 medley. World-class swimmer. Already won gold on the 200 metres breaststroke here, won gold on the 200 metres freestyle, so I'm a good 100 free. She's in the final heat. This heat 4 of 9 of the women's 200 free. Amy Brown of Bournemouth, the fastest seed in 4. Ruby Stevenson, second fastest seed in lane number 5. And there are, 4 juniors here in lanes 1, in 5, in 7, and in 9.
Yeah, nice start there up from the top in lane 7, Beth Hall. It's nice when a swimmer can use that underwater work to their advantage, and sneak a 0.2 or 3 here right at the beginning. Just sets you up nicely down this first length. And going with her is Yasmin Sheffield in lane 2.
And interesting you say that sneak 0.2 here and there. 0.2 at the end of the race is so important, and she just snuck it on the start. That could be a massive difference in the whole race and the finishing time.
Yeah, especially if you're one of these swimmers that's maybe looking to qualify for an A final or sneak inside a junior final. You want to make sure that you're maximising every little bit that you're doing, and that's why it's so important in training to work on those skills and not just kind of think, on the backstroke, I'm going to finish on my front, or on this breaststroke turn, I'm going to touch with one hand, because these are the things that really matter when you come to compete.
They certainly do. Lanes 2, 4, and 7. That's Amy Sheffield of Leicester. In 4, Amy Brown of Bournemouth. And in lane 7, Beth Hall of Cleethorpes. Those 3, the first 3 to turn at the halfway in this heat 4 of the women's 200 medley, 4 of 9. And right in the centre, with Swim Bournemouth, the SB of Swim Bournemouth on a hat, that white hat with a big SB on it. Amy Brown looking very good indeed at the moment. A 17-year-old, good breaststroke, good solid breaststroke. And let's hope she's got a freestyle as well, because this is good. Also going well, though, up in 7 is Beth Hall of Cleethorpes.
Yeah, she's one of our junior swimmers looking for that consideration time of 2:17.52. So some big asks required from these girls, but as we keep seeing, people are dropping 2-3 seconds all the time and making massive chunks on their PBs.
So Amy Brown around the wall first with 50 metres to go in this heat of the women's 200 medley. Second in lane 7, Beth Hall. And third, well, in lane 5 was Ruby Stevenson. But at the moment, it looks like in lane number 4, it is Amy Brown still looking good. And she's got a good freestyle. Also going well, still up in 7, is Beth Hall. So it's these two with, in lane 0, Chloe Hurst come back very quickly on this freestyle leg. Look at that. Well, first the touch really tight in 7, I think it was. Yes, it was. Beth Hall gets the touch in 7. 2:23.80. Second, Amy Brown of Bournemouth, 2:24.0. And Chloe Hurst, a really good swim from her right at the bottom there in lane 0. She came third, 2:24.46.
Yeah, PBs from 1 and 2 in that race. Another 2 seconds from both of them under their entry time. So it's another smile on their face. Nice to see swimmers enjoying themselves, and yeah, definitely should be proud with the swim that they've done this morning.
So Beth Hall wins heat 4 of the women's 200 medley from Cleethorpes, 2:23.80. Amy Brown second, Chloe Hurst third, Rachel Hornby fourth. 5 heats left in this women's 200 medley, starting to heat up. And the fastest seed, Annabelle Wilkinson of City of Sheffield. So no swimmer in lane number 7. That's Izzy May Reeves of City of Sheffield has withdrawn. But in the fastest seed is Annabelle Wilkinson of the City of Sheffield, and she's got a good solid fly, the red hat in the centre. She's working it quite hard, but she's going really well.
Yeah, she keeps her chin really nice and low to the surface, so she's not climbing up and down and wasting lots of energy, which is what you want in butterfly swim, but it's also so important at the start of a medley.
Oh, very good first 50. A little bit slow around the wall. I would imagine the coach will have a quick look at that. I've got to tell you the name of the swimmer in lane number 2 in the yellow hat. Kiddiest Hodgson. Kiddiest Hodgson of the City of Leeds. Beautiful name. I believe it's Ethiopian. It means blessing. But I've never met a Kiddiest. There's a super name, that. Anyway, she's going well in the yellow hat. She is a youngster, and she's looking good. She's only 17 years of age. Got a good solid fly and backstroke, but no doubt about the leader in lane number 4. It is Annabelle Wilkinson at the halfway in this heat 5 of the women's 200 medley.
Yeah, nice crossover turn from her. We've seen a lot of touch turns and flip turns in the first 2 heats, and nice to see that some of these girls have got the confidence and have practiced a lot in training, that more advanced back to breaststroke turn, which we see, and we call the crossover turn.
Yeah, it's so quick, isn't it, if you can nail it right. It's not easy to learn, though, is it?
No, it's really easy as well to get it wrong. If you reach slightly too far over with one arm that hits the wall, in theory, you've turned on your front. So it's that fine line between doing it really well, doing it slightly wrong, and then obviously being disqualified. So it takes a lot of practice in training to get that right.
How many times would you have practiced that in a session?
Oh, hundreds of times. And for a long time, I couldn't do it well, so I didn't do it in a race, and I went with the old school flip turn. But as soon as I'd mastered it and I could do it on both arms, it was then easy for me to just throw in the race whenever, no matter which side I was coming in on that backstroke arm.
Yeah, it's a great lesson, so important. Practice, practice, practice on both arms as well, not just on one. Hundreds of times every session. Amy Wilmot, triple Olympic representative for Great Britain and double Olympic finalist in the medley, in the 400 medley. Annabelle Wilkinson winning this 200 medley heat at the British National Championships in 2022. Time of 2:20.22. Second is Emma Erskine of Nova, 2:23.32. And third, Kidius Hodgson, really good final 50 from her. What a blessing, in third place.
I understood that joke today.
Lovely name, I really love that. That's fantastic. Good swim from Wilkinson. Wins it. So Annabelle Wilkinson of City of Sheffield, 2:20.22. Erskine second, Hodgson third. Evie Float in fourth. Good swimming name that as well, I think.
Yeah, really nice. So from all those girls, and Annabelle finishing with a 4-second PB there.
4 seconds. Amber Downham of Plymouth Leander. Fastest seed, coached by Roberto Pavoni. Great medley swimmer he was.
Yeah, he was a fantastic medley swimmer, swam at the London 2012 Olympics, swam and won numerous European medals. So it's nice that you can have some of these world-class athletes come back and coach, and Roberto Pavoni's just one of those.
Also going very well at the top there in lane number 8 is Holly Widows. And goodness me, what a great start she's had. Really, really good. Born in 2006, 15 years of age, and what a fly leg this is. Really impressive start.
Yeah, good start from her. I think she swam a PB or round about her PB in almost everything she swam this week, chatting with her coaches. So when you're on form, you just fly through the next race and the next race, and you're almost kind of just buzzing before you've even dived in, because you know you're going to swim well.
And the Mount Kelly team really having a great year. Won the Arena League, which is sort of the Premier League, really, of club swimming, isn't it? And then, well, Emma Collins-Barnes, the chief coach, just about to come back from maternity leave. Congratulations to her. And Greg Kinglim done a super job to look after the team in her absence. So first over up in lane number 3, actually. In 65.3 is Kate Morris. Second was Holly Widows up the top there. And these two quite a way ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, slightly faster as well than that heat before. So both of these girls will now want to maximise the lead they've got on this breaststroke and try and hold on to it.
So Widows, the 15-year-old, up there in lane number 8. Looking good. The rest of the field starting to attack now on this breaststroke leg. She's got a decent freestyle as well as Holly Widows. So it'll be interesting to see how she brings it back, but she's in a good place here with 50 to go. Maybe just lost the lead. It looks like maybe in 2 now. It's Sophie King of Woking. In fact, was it King or Hall? Actually, Maya Hall right in the centre of Stockton first to turn. Just behind her, Sophie King, and third was Holly Widows with 50 to go. Yeah,
I think Sophie glided into the wall a little bit long there, so she had that advantage going in and then almost lost it round the turn. So another reason why those skills are super important to sharpen up on.
So the final 20 metres here in this heat 6 of 9, the last of the unseeded heats of the women's 200 medley. And it looks like it's going to be in lane number 5. Maya Hall of Borough of Stockton wins it, 2:22.05. Well, another 2.5 lifetime best. Really good swim from Maya. She wins it. Second, Holly Widows, lane 8-1, excuse me. Lane 8-1, 2:22.05. Well, I'm looking at Maya Hall thinking I was looking at her arm, but really great finish there from Holly Widows, the 15-year-old. Well, with 1 stroke to go, I have to say, I thought it was pretty clear, but wasn't even close, really. Look at that, 0.33, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite a big difference when it comes down to just the finish and just the last stroke. So lovely finish from both of these girls then, both 1 and 2 swimming personal best times. So another PB for Holly Widows to add to her bag of really good swims already.
What a meet she's having. Wow. Well, my eyes deceived me on that one. Thank goodness for electronic timing. To be honest, in the end, 0.33, I should be able to see that. I need to change my glasses. I need to change my glasses sponsor, I think. Last 3 heats, the big heats, the 30 fastest swimmers going in these last 3 heats of the women's 200 medley. It's heat 7, and Evie Dilley is in 3. Katie Shanahan won gold on the 200 metres backstroke, silver on the 400 medley. She's in lane 4, the fastest seed in this heat of the 200 medley, and then Michaela Glenister of Stirling in 5.
Katie Shanahan taking this race out really nice. We know she's a really strong, tough medley swimmer. She was second in that in that 400 individual medley earlier in the week, and first in the 200 backstroke. So we know she's strong on that backstroke length as well, and she'll look to use that now in this 200 individual medley.
Swimming right on the lane line. It's fine because you can use that to make sure that you swim straight, but just don't get too close to it, because as you're rolling your shoulders, if you do get it slightly caught underneath it, my goodness me, it completely stops your momentum. So you can touch it just if you like. It's probably a bit too close, but don't get too close. Do you ever get stuck, your shoulder gets stuck under the lane line?
I definitely did when I was swimming abroad outdoors, but it's one of these things we see quite a lot in honesty, or we have seen in the heats here. Some of those club swimmers who are used to going round and round in circle seed, we've seen a couple of them go down one side of the lane, turn and come back up the other. So in a race, obviously you want to think about swimming just up and down that centre of the lane.
Well, a cracking first 125 here for lane number 4, Katie Shanahan, the British champion on the 200 metres backstroke. Won a silver on the 400 medley, and looking good in this heat of the 200. Really one job to do in these heats, just make sure that you get a decent lane through to the final. Did you prefer lane 4? Did you care if you were in 3, 4, 5?
Not necessarily. I think a lot of the time in the heats I would focus on what I was technically going to work on, or I'd have a specific race plan. So if that meant I was in 3 or 5, it didn't really matter. The job of winning medals was done in the final session.
So lane 4, Katie Shanahan of the City of Glasgow. Danielle Brayson, her coach, has done a super job. Coached the national champion 200 backstroke, silver on the 400 medley, and done a really good heat here of the 200 medley. Shanahan wins it. Second is Ailsa MacDonald of Edinburgh University, and third, Amelia Monaghan of Sheffield.
Yeah, we saw a lot of these girls as well last night in that 200 back, so sometimes it is a tough ask if you've swam really well the night before. You've maybe not got the best sleep because you're just buzzing on that adrenaline and those results, to come back the next morning and swim a quick heat.
So Shanahan wins it, MacDonald second, Monaghan third, and Evie Dilley in 4th, where she did achieve the European consideration time for the juniors on the 200 metres backstroke. So barring any very strange things happening, she should be on the European junior team. Congratulations to Evie Dilley. Heat 8, second last heat. Candice Hall, the second fastest seed, coming into this meet, is the fastest in this, the second last heat. Leah Schlossen of Leeds in 3, Candice Hall of Sheffield in 4, and Yvonne Brown of Aberdeen in 5.
Yeah, there's no lane 2 as well in this event here, so Daisy Anderson has withdrawn.
We should also just point out in lane number 6 is Phoebe Cooper, born in 2008. She's 14 years of age, and she has a great chance here of making the European Youth Olympic team if she can become the fastest swimmer to finish in this 200 medley. Actually, the 200 medley I don't think is a selection event for automatic selection, isn't it? I think they can certainly be selected from it, but the automatic selections are 200s of the strokes, the fly, back, breast and free, and then the 400 medley, is that right?
Yeah, so Phoebe was the fastest swimmer in the 200 fly, and I think she was also the fastest swimmer in the 400 individual medley for her age category, so she should be on that team, and no doubt if she wins this event and she's fastest seed, then she'll get to swim that. So to do 3 events at the Youth Olympic Festival's an awesome achievement.
It certainly is. That's Phoebe in 6. She's got the red hat. She's currently in about 5th position, but Candice Hall, her first 100 metres was superb. Lovely backstroke stroke and a really nice breaststroke.
Yeah, Candice has got 4 lovely strokes. We'll see her as well. She should be quite quick on this freestyle leg. She was 7th in the A final of the 200 freestyle on our very first night, and she's had a couple of days to sharpen up. She swam the 100 backstroke, and yeah, this is almost her preferred event.
And coached by Andy Manley. And, well, they've got a really interesting program, haven't they, at Loughborough?
Yeah, there's so many different programs to be a part of there. You have, obviously, Mel Marshall's group, you have Dave Hemmings, and then you have a whole load of different pockets of coaching staff, really, that are part of the university.
Well, she's representing City of Sheffield here, so I'm not quite sure if she's still with Andy Manley, actually. Maybe she's moved. We'll check that and see, but beautiful, beautiful backstroke and really lovely breaststroke. And looks pretty easy here coming down the freestyle leg. 2:15, something like that, maybe 2:15.3. Yeah, it's a good swim to win the second last heat of the women's 200 medley. Second was Leah Schlossen in lane number 3, and third, Yvonne Brown of Aberdeen. But a pretty impressive heat that from Candice Hall.
Yeah, nice swim from her. It didn't look too taxing this morning, and to swim 2:15.3, she's currently the fastest seed in that event so far.
So the final heat just about to come out, but Candice Hall 2:15. She'll get a centre lane for the final. Schlossen, good swim from her in second. And also a good solid swim from Yvonne Brown in third. Right, the final heat of the women's 200 IM. It's the last women's race of today. We've got the men's 800 metres freestyle, a couple of heats of that coming up, just 3. Abby Wood in 4, Olympic finalist. So nearly won a medal at the Olympic Games. Oh, it's just fingertips at the end. Lovely fly, great backstroker, but super breaststroke and freestyle.
Yeah, it's really tough to watch someone come away with the 4th position. It's not the position that you want to finish in at Olympic Games, but she'll have learned so much from that, and she is definitely one to keep an eye out for in Paris for sure.
And she learned so much about herself and about racing technique and just the whole way of racing at the International Swimming League. I think she was one of the outstanding swimmers globally in the International Swimming League, wasn't she, Abby Wood?
Yeah, her turns and her skills are amazing, and she really uses them to her advantage, and she had a lovely start there, maximised that 15 underwater. She came off that back fly to back turn, maximised 10, 11 metres underwater, so she's learnt a lot from that ISL season, and she's using the underwater phases here to basically set herself up nicely for the stroke and as she pops up in that breakout.
Well, most medley swimmers have 4 really strong strokes. I know she's got a fantastic breaststroke and freestyle. Does she have a weaker leg?
I think traditionally she would have said her backstroke was probably her weakest leg, but there in that 200 medley, it didn't really look like there was that much of a weakness. So she must have been really working on that. But yeah, breaststroke for her is definitely one of her strengths.
Well, certainly is. She was Olympic finalist not only in this 200 medley, but also in the 200 breaststroke. She was 7th in that Olympic final. And I think coming away from it, I think she can go better next time. So this is a very impressive swim. Interesting to see how hard she's pushing this heat. She's certainly not just doing a nice, easy, slow one, is she?
No, you haven't got the opportunity to do that when you're on the world stage. So for her to come to the British Champs and practice that is really important. And she's still using that underwater work on that last length of the race there. So she's had 3 really good turns, and she almost takes one metre, it looks like, out of the rest of the field.
Well, 6 kicks underwater on the breast of freestyle leg. Look at that beautiful stroke. Dave Hemmings has done a wonderful job of getting her strokes in order, and her breaststroke, her freestyle really come on wonderfully well, and this is impressive. 2:11.9. That's a good swim. That's a really good swim. It's only 2.5 seconds outside of a lifetime best, and that's the heat. And she's not really rested at all. Had a good long break after the Olympics and started coming back. She had glandular fever, didn't she? And she's really suffered with an awful lot since the Olympic Games, but just starting to get back into it.
Yeah, she was really busy off the back of the Olympics, didn't take much of a break, swam lots of events at the ISL season, and her body at Christmas time was like, Abby, I think you need to chill out and just have a little bit of a break here. So she is one of the athletes that's pre-selected on the team for the World Championships this summer, so she doesn't necessarily have to come here and swim fast, but we've seen her post some quick times already in the 200 freestyle and the 100 freestyle yesterday, so she looks like she's still on good form despite having a little bit of an interrupted season so far.
Well, there she is, our British double Olympic finalist, Abby Wood, and she will go into the final fastest, that 2:11.91. Really good swimmer. Look how far she won that last heat by Lily Booker second, Scarlett Major third. Let's see if Booker and Major will make it through to the final. So here we go. And we've got, well, look how far ahead she is. Abby Wood, amazing. Candice Hall had a good, comfortable heat. Booker was in that last heat. Shanahan's in there, the silver medalist on the 400. That's going to be a good final, but really good to see Abby Wood and just see what she can do at this stage of her preparation.
Yeah, she keeps saying that she's here and she's learning a lot about herself, and she learned a lot from her 200 breaststroke earlier in the week. So no doubt she's using this as another one of those swims where, yes, it's nice for her to finish British champion, but she's probably got her eyes set on the Worlds this summer.
Well, I'm sure she will do, but she'll also have scooped. It'll be her 3rd national title this week if she wins that 200 medley off the back of the gold on the 200 metres breaststroke and gold on the 200 metres freestyle. To then take the medley as well. That's a pretty successful week if you're still coming back into full fitness and full strength and training.
Yeah, she's just another one of our more versatile swimmers, and you can kind of not throw Abby in anything, but she got the call up last season in that European relay, and she really held her own and swam superb, in fact, in that relay.
So we've got 3 heats of the men's 1500 metres freestyle now. 800 metres freestyle, excuse me. Done the 15, thank goodness. Amy Wilmot's eyes nearly popped out of her head. I shall say that again slowly. Heat 4 of 6 of the men's 800 metres freestyle. I say heat 4 of 6, there's actually 7 heats because the final heat will be swum this evening as a heat declared winner, but as a final in the final session. So in theory, you can win it from one of these earlier heats, but the final heat will be this evening in the final session. The finals starting, well, the program starts at 5:45 with a pre-game show, and then 6 o'clock the racing will start. And in that final, in the 1500 metres freestyle, we've got Dan Jervis, the Olympic finalist for Great Britain, and what a masterclass he will show us in the 1500 freestyle, 5th in that Olympic final. Such a lovely guy, and the way he did it, he's a wonderful, wonderful example of distance swimming.
Yeah, he is a world-class swimmer, and just to pick up on the back of your comment around you can win this race in the heats. So I actually have a funny story to tell you. Ooh. So at my first European short course championships, I swam the 800 metres freestyle, and I was in heat 1 because I didn't have an entry time. And my coach at the time, Lisa Bates, threw me in everything, and she was like, we're just going to use this to sharpen up your skills, really kind of focus on some things that we don't have time to in the long course season. So you're going to do 800 freestyle. So I went in the 800 freestyle in heat 1, lane 3, I think I was, and I swam a time of 8:19 or 8:18.
Wow.
So I took like 30 seconds off my predicted entry time in the 800 metres freestyle, and I couldn't believe that I'd swam that well. I think I lapped the girl next to me. I got out of the race, was buzzing for the entire day, came back, trained that evening, and then I was watching the race unfold and thinking, I split faster than that this morning, than some of these girls. And then it was 400 metres, and I was thinking, my time was 3rd on the scoreboard there from the 400 metre mark. And then the 600 came, and I actually won a bronze medal in that race from heat 1, but I was sat on the side while the race unfolded. So it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had. And it honestly taught me that I was like, if I'm in any lane, in any final, like, I've got a chance to win. So it was funny, but at the time I was kind of like, what's happening? It was just so surreal.
I have to say, I've never, ever heard that before of anyone. Never seen it happen. I've seen at the Olympics in the old days, they used to have an A final and a B final. So instead of having semi-finals, they had the A and the B, and that was a chap called Thomas Farner, a German guy, and he went nice and slow in the heats because he was very good and he didn't need to go that quick. Finished 9th after the heats, and so didn't get to swim in the final. Here's the B final, and his time that won the B final was faster than the time that won the A final. What a muck-up, is one way of putting it. But I've seen that, but I've never seen someone do that, Amy.
Yeah, it was at the European Short Course Championships. I think it was in 2012. So I didn't even win a medal in the 400 medley or anything else that I swam. But yeah, that opportunity that came in the 800 freestyle, I actually couldn't believe when I was on the podium with, I think it was Lotte Friis at the time. And I couldn't believe that I was stood on the podium with one of the best 800 freestyle swimmers that was around in that era.
That's quite extraordinary. I bet. Can you imagine the feeling when one of the big final, the final heat people are sitting there going, Oh my goodness me, what is going on here? She's a medley swimmer, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I never went as quick ever again. So it was one of those races where I swam. The 400 free was really quick. I went a time of 4:01, so my freestyle was just firing really well, and my turns were good, and everything about the swims were just amazing. And yeah, I always remember being sat in the stands, and the scoreboard flashed up with the overall results, and my name had just snuck in there as 3rd place to win a medal.
That is amazing. And then what's also probably equally as amazing, I'm not quite sure, is that 15 years later, you're sitting in the commentary box of the British National Championships in 2022, sitting next to me, which is a great pleasure, I have to say, telling that story. Is that extraordinary?
Yeah, it's one of those stories that I sometimes throw in there every now and again, because I just think, almost like some of these swimmers, they're in any lane this morning, they've almost got a chance to swim well, regardless of whether they're in lane 9, whether they're in lane 0, whether they're older or younger than some of the other athletes. So yeah, for me, I'm like, I do love that story, and I came with, that was actually my first ever senior international medal.
Well, that's a fantastic story. I love it. Let's just go back to the pool, though. So up in lane 7, Joe Cooper of Team Ipswich. Dave Champion, what a coach he's been for years and years and years. Still is. Very, very good indeed. British national team coach. And certainly still coaching him, still pumping him out. And his swimmer here, Joe Cooper, is coming into the 500 metres turn in this, the first of the heats that are swum in this session. Heats 1, 2 and 3 will be swum at lunchtime. And then we've got 4, 5 and 6 right now. And then heat 7 will be swum in the 6 o'clock session this evening, the final session this evening. So leading at the 500 metres turn is Joe Cooper, Dave Champion swimmer from Team Ipswich. And second, George Pearson of Wickham and District, another one of the Wickham distance squad. Really good group they've got there now. Certainly worth looking at that. And then Ben Merriman of Torfaen in 3rd.
Yeah, these 3 swimmers at the front really breaking away from the rest of the field. Everybody started off quite nice and controlled, but you can see now, especially the Wickham swimmer in the middle, really starting to go to his legs. And he's got 6 laps to go, 5 now at this turn. So this is the move that if you're going to make a move, you do it in this middle, well, 400 to 600 metre mark.
Well, this is coming up to the end of that 400 to 600 metres mark at this turn. So the moves being made right now and then holding on. Is it holding on for 7th and 8th, or do you try and continue to build?
I used to try and continue to build even more, so I wouldn't necessarily be using my legs a lot now, but I would start to increase my stroke rate, make sure I was pulling harder underwater, stretching harder, maybe trying to get round the walls quicker and kicking a bit more underwater. So there was other ways of sort of moving on that 3rd 200 rather than just going straight to my legs.
And fascinating you say I increased the stroke rate, because I suppose one of the things you've got to be careful of when you do that is not to start slipping water, just start turning over like a windmill and not actually holding much water at all. How much did you have to focus on increasing the stroke rate and holding onto the water?
A lot. I think I would only ever maybe increase it by 1 or 2 strokes at max, so I wouldn't all of a sudden turn and then start spinning and just scrapping and scrapping and scrapping. 1
or 2 strokes per length?
Yeah, 1 or 2 strokes per length. So not 1 or 2 cycles, so actually 1 or 2 individual strokes, because the more strokes that I tended to add, the more energy I wasted for the same result and the same split. So it was finding that nice balance of, I'm getting a bit slower, how can I hold that pace? And for me, it was to just increase my stroke rate a little bit and increase that turnover.
Well, he's looking very good. There is the bell signifying 2 lengths to go. 100 metres left in this heat 4, the men's 800 metres freestyle. And he's having a really good swim here, Joe Cooper. And Dave Champion will be delighted with this. This looks really good. He's got about a 10-metre lead. Really come through on this second half is Cameron Carlos up there from Barnet Copthall. And he looks very good indeed. He's really charging in lane 9, right at the top in that yellow hat. In 3, it's Ben Merriman of Torfaen. And then in lane number 5, we've got George Pearson of Wickham and District. But no doubt about the leader, and a really impressive swim, tactically excellent from Joe Cooper.
Yeah, and he's still holding 5 metres off those walls there. Down this last length, he'll be thinking, what have I got left? Everything I've got, can I pull harder? Can I kick harder? And really stretch for the wall in the last 25 metres.
Well, I love it. He's got such a distant swimmer's stroke, hasn't he? He's starting to go to the legs now. and he is going well. Well, his lifetime best is 8:41, and he's just gone 8:30.2 off an 8:41 lifetime best. A little nod is all I get for a 10-second lifetime best, 11-second lifetime best. Wow, what a great swim that was from Joe Cooper. Brilliant swim. He's still looking, yeah, there you go, that's a bit better. A thumbs up will do. Merriman second. Third was Cam Carlos up the top there. Fourth, George Pearson. Fifth, Thomas Defanes. But a really good swim from Joe Cooper of Team Ipswich. And Dave Champion take a bow, because an 11-second lifetime best is nothing to be sniffed at all.
Yeah, another one of our younger swimmers coming into this competition with an entry time that's probably not necessarily what they're capable of, but on paper here, Joe's season's best was actually his PB. So he's taken 11 seconds off in the last 12 months, which is phenomenal. Ben Martin up there as well, 4-second PB. Cameron Carlos finishing at 8:36 with an 8-second PB. So a lot of these boys swimming really well this morning.
Wow, I think that might be one of the biggest ones we've seen so far. We did have Amelia Bloxage, a youngster, didn't we? In the 800 metres freestyle, doing a massive lifetime best. In fact, I think it's her birthday today. I think she's swimming the 400 metres freestyle this lunchtime. She's swum a wonderful 800 freestyle. Now, Amy, please describe this stroke in lane number 5, that black hat. Look how slow and long. Goodness me, that's amazing.
Yeah, Charlie Poole of the University of Stirling there. He's got a really lovely technical stroke. It's almost like a catch-up. He's maximising that underwater. His head's really still. He's just increased it ever so slightly to get round that wall quick, which is sometimes what those athletes need. But yeah, he's just settled into such a lovely stroke. He's probably doing 3 or 4 strokes less than the rest of the field.
Wow, his stroke count must be really slow. It's amazing. But he started off very comfortably. Let's hope he can pick it up a little bit from that. It's at the moment going well in lane number 4, the yellow hat with the red writing of City of Salford is Max Adams. And Max, what, second over? First over, just first over. 4 100s, 6 100s ahead of the swimmer in second place, Ruben Vista. Ruben Vista in 2. So it's Max Adams and Ruben Vista, the first 2 at the 100. And those two guys now, well, they've started off quickly and they're not slowing down at the moment at all. They're just settling into a decent pace after a pretty quick first 125.
Yeah, both of these boys have been swimming really well this week. I think Ruben's done a lot of PBs, done a lot of events, and another one of those City of Sheffield swimmers that, coached by Mike Taylor's, having a phenomenal week. And as we keep saying, it's nice to see swimmers come here and swimming well in the heats, especially in this event, because they don't have the opportunity to do it again in the final. And not that they'd probably want the chance to swim an 800 free twice, but it means that they've got one chance to get in, swim well this morning, and a lot of our swimmers that we've seen, even in the heat before, are using that opportunity and getting huge PBs.
Well, he's looking very strong indeed, and these two, very little to choose. It was 6 100ths of a second, split them at the 100 metres, and there, again, it's hundreds, isn't it? It's quite amazing. 13 100s split the two there. And in the red hat now, Ruben Vista of City of Sheffield, looking good in the red hat. And the yellow hat in the centre there, Max Adams, coach John Stout. Well, they've had a cracking meet, haven't they? They really have.
Yeah, really good from all these swimmers here. And it'd be interesting to see how Ruben and Max swim this, because going down one length of the pool, they're looking away from each other, and coming back now on this length, they're looking towards each other. So it seems like Max is almost turning second, and then he's seeing Ruben pull away from him, and he's chasing him down that second length. And sometimes you can get a little bit carried away, swimming your own race one way, but then you think, I'm a little bit far behind, and I need to catch up on the next length. So hopefully these swimmers are not just kind of looking at each other, but it will be interesting coming into the wall if they're both breathing towards each other, and they're this close.
Well, 19 100ths of a second splitting the two of them now. Interesting you talk about looking at each other, because in the 50 freestyle, if you look at anyone during the leg, that's the end of your race. You're done. You can't look anywhere on a 50. On a 100, pretty similar. But here on the 800, there seems to be quite a lot more cat and mouse, even though you're still trying to deliver your best self in the pool. But you're looking at other people as well. It's an interesting difference between the sprint and the distance.
Yeah, there's a lot more that, I guess, not can go wrong, but there's a lot more time in the race, so there's more things that can happen. So if you're looking around in a 50 freestyle, then everyone around you's already gone. If you get too excited at the start of an 800 freestyle and you might go off too fast and all of your team competitors just kind of hang back a little bit and they play a little bit more of a strategical race in how they're going to swim, then if you're fighting for a medal, ultimately you may have messed up your race tactics. So it depends what you're after, whether you're focusing on time versus racing and position. And we see a lot of cat and mouse at the Olympic Games in those distance events, especially in the men's swimming.
Well, there's quite a gap now opened up between these two. There's been 0.2 of a second maximum between them for most of this first half. But that's the halfway turn, and going into the halfway turn with about 15 metres to go into that 400 turn. He didn't wait, interestingly. Max Adams in for City of Salford. He didn't wait for the turn and then go. It was about 20 metres before the halfway mark. He started turning on the gas and really started moving. And look how much he's taken out of the swimmer in second place, Ruben Visda, just in 50 metres.
Yeah, for me it was, if you're going to kind of make your move on the next length, you want to build into the wall, so you're carrying a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum, so you can get round the wall nice and quick, use that underwater phase, rather than just pop up and then make your move or use your legs and increase the speed. So yeah, almost those transitions in and out of the walls are really important. And in world-class swimming, we see Caleb Dressel is so good at that, and that's how he takes a lot of time out of his competitors, not necessarily because he is the fastest swimmer.
Well, breathing to his left, and he really is going very well indeed. Interesting, very straight arm. Reminds me a little bit of David Davis, you know, the way David Davis used to swim.
Yeah, he's our men's British record holder in this event with a time of 7:44.32. So I reckon Dan Jervis has probably got his eyes set on that tonight, because that will be the British record and the Welsh record.
Well, certainly will. And interesting, when David Davis set that time back in 2009, his coach was Kevin Renshaw, who's just been appointed the distance lead for British swimming. So distance swimming in good hands now in Britain. Interesting, we haven't necessarily had a particular specific focus of responsibility for someone to actually drive it forward. And Kev Renshaw, a fabulous coach. I think he's certainly been with British swimming for a long time, 18 years or so I think he's been with British swimming. But it's good to have someone of his calibre just looking after it and looking out for it and making sure that it is pushed forward to the top of the agenda.
Yeah, he's been given the opportunity to work with those athletes or help develop those athletes from 400 metres and above. And he's got an amazing track record, was my coach or my team coach at the London 2012 Olympics. He's also coached Dan Fogg, 5th at the open water in 2012. He was 8th in the 1500 metres. But we can't forget David Davis, the British record holder in this event, who Kev coached to win an Olympic medal in 2008, so silver in Beijing. So the sport and distance swimming is in phenomenal hands under Kev's guidance.
That was open water, I think, wasn't it, as well, in Beijing? Didn't he do the 10,000 metres open water? Because I think he nearly won it, and then he was so tired. Was that David Davis? I think
You're putting me to the test now.
Oh, sorry.
2008.
Yeah, you were probably 3 back then, weren't you?
Not that young, but I definitely wasn't there, and I was watching a lot of that on the TV, and that's actually when I saw Becky win her Olympic medals and thought, wow, that is so amazing that we've got a woman in Britain winning 2 Olympic gold medals.
I'm pretty sure it was David Davis, and I'm pretty sure that he was winning, and then he was so tired they had to swim down that funnel at the end. You know, in the open water they sort of have that funnel thing where they sort of, it's like a duck trap, and they all have to swim closer and closer to the finish, and unfortunately he didn't quite swim straight, and the Dutch guy ended up beating him into the gold medal. But and he was winning for a long, long time. But a wonderful, wonderful swimmer he was, a lovely guy. The last half here has been quite extraordinary from Adam Hall of Loughborough University. Is that him in 3? I think it is. An amazing last half. He's just turned it up. Well, negative split. I mean, it looks like he could keep on going for another 800 here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see when he goes back if he thinks, oh, I saved too much energy until too late, because something like that can make a massive difference in distance swimming. And I'm sure when he swims next time, he won't save this much energy till the last 200 metres of the race.
Well, his lifetime best is 8:31. And I have to say, if you can go a little bit quicker down the first 100, or so the first half, the first 400, he can go an even bigger lifetime best, 8:31.7. and he's just gone about 8:27. The clock, unfortunately, not stopped for us in the stadium here, but that was a really, really quick time. That's an amazing swim for him.
Yeah, it just shows how important it is to work on your own race plan. Make sure you're nailing that, not getting sort of wrapped up in the race. He let Ruben and Max go either side of him, knew what his race plan and his strategy was, stuck to that and used the last 200 metres really well. And yeah, ultimately came through, and we're pretty sure he's done a personal best time there.
Well, I think so, as Ruben Vista on the left-hand side from, was that the Salford guy? That was Max Adams, wasn't it, the 18-year-old? I can't give you the times, I'm afraid, yet. The timing system just had a little bit of a hiccup, so I'm sure we'll sort that out fairly shortly. But really amazing second half, and it was lightning back Adam Horde. I'd love to see his splits. That would be really, really interesting. I mean, that last 100 must have been quicker than his first.
Yeah, when you go back and look at those splits, it's interesting to see all the splits, almost compare how you felt at each part of the race. Whether you thought, oh, that was maybe a little bit challenging, whether you thought, oh, I was probably going too easy there, and the times have reflected that. So distance swimming's really good to analyse. There's lots you can look at, lots you can think about working towards, and the next time you swim, and you can make massive differences in personal best times just on looking at those splits and your energy consumption and where you think you could make a move slightly earlier next time.
Well, we've just got a little bit of a problem with the timing system at the moment, so they're just holding up the meet to fix that. The swimmers in the next event, or the next heat, heat 6. It's actually the second last heat of men's 800 metres freestyle, but the last heat is this evening. And spectators still here, really enjoying themselves. A little bit of braiding going on there from Mum, is it? Having a look at it. So the final heat this morning, we'll see Josh Weston of Wickham District as the fastest seed, 11th in the 1500 metres freestyle. And he'll be trying to set a time and see if he can do an Amy Wilmot and get a medal from one of the unseeded heats. That's a great story. I love that story.
Yeah, I still can't believe it really happened, to be honest. And to be fair, that medal is one of the nicest medals that I have. So yeah, it's hung pride of place.
Nicest in terms of how it looks?
Yeah, it is bronze, but it actually looks a little bit gold. So for at one time when I was showing it around schools, the kids were like, is this a gold medal or a bronze medal? And part of me every time was tempted to be like, yeah, it's a gold one.
It is funny when you take medals around the schools, isn't it? Because they do look at the colours almost more than what it's for. Fascinating. What's your favourite medal?
Probably my Commonwealth Games one in 2018, and not just because it's gold, but the ribbon and everything about it is just really special.
Certainly was. It was an honour to commentate on that one. Let me tell you, it was brilliant. Well done. Well done 4 years later. And forever. Will always be. Amy Wilmot, Commonwealth champion, 400 medley. So no lane 5 in this heat 6 of the men's 1500 metres freestyle. So Daniel Marotta of Swansea University has withdrawn, which leaves the fastest seed, Joshua Weston, that's a green hat of Wickham District in the centre. Also gone off pretty quickly is Matthew Woodall of City of Sheffield, up there in lane number 8.
Yeah, we saw lane 1 go off quite quick in the 400 freestyle and pay for it a little bit at the end. So it'd be nice to see Luke here maybe learn a couple of things from the beginning of the week, hold back a little bit so he's able to really push on in the back end of this race.
We'll talk about Matthew Woodall up there, currently leading down this first 100 metres. He's born in 2004, but later in 2004, so he's still, what, just 17 years of age, is that right? And, well, on the 400 metres freestyle, came into this national championships with a lifetime best of 4 minutes 5 on the 400. He went 3:58. So he went a 7-second lifetime best. And here on the 800 metres freestyle, his lifetime best is his season's best this year of an 8:32. Well, it'd be really interesting to see what he can do, but he is going for it from the start. And if he can repeat that 7 seconds lifetime best on his 4, totally unfair to do, but make that 14 on an 800 metres freestyle, and suddenly you're going, hang on a second here, and Amy Wilmot is very possible.
Yeah, definitely. That European Junior consideration time is 8:09.40. So if he did do that, he'd be very close to making that time this morning.
I should probably just, for those of you who didn't hear the Amy Wilmot story earlier, in a nutshell, was in an unseeded heat at the European Short Course Championships for the 800 metres freestyle. Put in an absolutely sensational swim, went 8:19, I think you say. Did you do that?
Yeah, something like that.
And then the final heat was in the evening. It was heat declared winner, though, but in theory, normally, no one ever gets anywhere near outside of that last heat. And 1A Wilmot went in, did the 8:19 in the heats, and then sat back and watched as only 2 swimmers went faster than her in the final heat, so picked up a very pretty bronze medal that looks like a gold one.
Yeah,
I was listening.
Yeah, it was a really, really special race, to be honest. And for my first ever international medal to come from an 800 freestyle, I was in as much shock as everybody else, I think.
That's still a great story. I love it. So still up here is Matthew Woodall of City of Sheffield. Started off well, the 17-year-old. And he's gone off very quickly. His 400 freestyle was sensational, 7-second lifetime best. And it's just going to be interesting to see whether he can keep going, because that's a 300 meters turn. So 500 meters left, 10 lengths of this pool. And you convert that to most local pools, that's 20 lengths of most local pools still to go if it's a 25-meter pool. And look at the lead he's got. It must be about 10 meters or so at the moment, and that's not even halfway.
No, he still looks quite controlled as well. His legs are going a little bit more than you would usually see, but he seems to be holding that really well, and it looks like he's using his kick to balance his arms, not necessarily for power.
So Woodall leading, Josh Weston second place in lane number 4 in the green hat, right in the centre for Wickham and District. But look at that, it's really good, still driving, and he's still just coming into the halfway mark. So tactically, this is going to be fascinating. He's about 10 metres ahead, but how do you swim tactically? You were talking before about looking over and seeing how the other guys are doing. If he looks over now, there's going to be nobody in his vision. So I wonder how he's going to do it. They might just be starting to catch him up a little bit.
Yeah, at the same time, you look across and see nobody. So if all of a sudden you look across and you know people are catching you, that's also a really hard thing to think, am I dying? Are they just doing really well? And then you start to go backwards and forwards between the two. So it does have its advantages being out in front. But yeah, if these boys start to reel him in, it'll be then very difficult for him to ignore all of that and just stick to his own plan.
And it'll be really interesting to know what his plan is, and him and his coach, Dan Cocking at City of Sheffield, will have gone through that very carefully. He had a 4-second lead at the 400 meters turn, 4.0 second lead at the 400 meters turn. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a lead he's got at this next one, the 500, because starting to charge now in lane number 2 is Jack Munsey of University of Stirling, and he looks very strong.
Yeah, we expect him to finish well. He did a 21.5 second PB in his 1500 meters freestyle a few days ago, and he also swam a 400 freestyle PB. So he's having a great meet, and we expect him to be finishing strong now, coming into the last 300 meters.
Well, it was a 4-second lead at the 400 meters at the halfway. It's exactly a 3-second lead now at the 500 meters. So Luke McGee in lane, or excuse me, it's actually Jack Munsey of University of Stirling in lane number 2, 12th on that 1500 meters freestyle with that outrageous lifetime best, is starting to catch up, and a second on 100 is quite a lot.
Yeah, you're really seeing these two boys who are kind of leading the charge start to increase their leg kick a little bit. They've still got 5 lengths to go of this race, but if you're going to try and catch the leader who's 5 meters out ahead, you've got to start doing something a little bit earlier.
Well, he only caught up 0.2 of a second on that last 50, so maybe he's starting to pick up his own pace. Also going well in the green hat in the centre is Josh Weston of Wickham and District. And those two guys now starting to chase and having a really good go at Matthew Woodall, the 17-year-old, up in lane number 8. He is a junior. The junior qualification standard very, very quick indeed. Goodness me, it's 8:09.4. Well, he'll be outside of that, but he's still working well, but they're still catching up.
Yeah, Jack there turning 3 seconds behind still, I think, so not caught up a massive amount, but you can see some of these boys now are starting to use the legs, and especially Josh here in the middle from Wickham. He's really gone to those quite early.
Well, it was 2.8 at the biggest gap. We'll have a look here and see what it is at this 50.
So turning there, 6:46.48 versus 6:48.55.
So it is still coming down. So it's now 1.2 seconds. So it was 4 seconds at the halfway mark. Excuse me, 2 seconds, 2.1, isn't it? So it was 4-second lead at the halfway mark at the 600. And then it was down to 3 seconds. Now it's down to 2.2 seconds with 100 meters to go at this turn. It's still getting tighter, but he's holding on well, Matthew Woodall at the top there. So Woodall will turn first with 100 to go at the bell. Second to turn is Jack Munsey of University of Stirling. Third to turn in lane number 4 is Josh Weston of Wickham and District in the centre there, and it's pretty close for 5th and 6th. Andrew Bertoli of City of Leicester, and in lane 6 it's Alexander Cooper. But the fight now on, and can he catch up? This is going to be fascinating down this last 100.
Yeah, opposite sides of the pool, might not necessarily be able to see each other that well coming down this last 50, but both boys, regardless, are going to swim personal best times here. It's just by how much.
So 750.38 to 751.38. So it's now 1 second. It was 2.2 before. Now it's just a second, and he's charging closer to us. It's been a second per 100 pretty much for each of the last 400 meters, having had a 4-second lead. And Jack Munsey of University of Stirling is still charging, but holding on remarkably well, amazingly well. Matt Woodall up there in lane 8, his lifetime best, 8:32.95. Well, that's just disappeared into the ether. 8:32.95, he's just gone 8:21. Goodness me, 11-second lifetime best on an 800 meters freestyle. Well done, Matthew Woodall. He is still a junior. Second was Jack Munsey, a really good second half. Fantastic second half of that race in second. Third was Josh Weston of Wickham and District. And fourth, Alex Cooper of Wickham as well.
Yeah, massive PBs for both of these boys. 13 seconds from the winner, 10 seconds from the runner-up, Jack Munsey, who's finishing second there. And Josh Weston also finishing on this roughly, well, exactly his season's best entry time. So 3 really good swims from these boys in the centre.
Really good swim. Wow, what a great race it was, and what a fascinating tactical race. Matt Woodall, 4-second lead at the halfway, and then had it eaten up, and in the end, well, he did well. He hung on well. 0.7 of a second in the end it was from Jack Munsey of University of Stirling. Weston third, Cooper fourth. A massive lifetime best from the winner. I haven't checked Jack's lifetime best. Yeah, another one from him as well. Amazing. Huge 10-second lifetime best for Jack Munsey in second, and Josh Weston in third.
Yeah, I think pretty much every single swimmer in that race there swam a personal best time or around about their personal best. So nice to see a swim when all 7 people in the pool can perform really well.
So that's the last official event of the day, although we are now straight back, actually. We've got 1 race left, and it is actually the very first heat of today's heats. It was the women's 50 meters backstroke. It was actually heat 8, and unfortunately the timing system didn't work. The starting and timing system didn't work, so they are re-swimming the whole event. There is no choice. It's not if you would like to or not. They're re-swimming the whole, not the whole event, just this whole heat, heat 1. And the fastest seed will be Scarlett Ferris of Perth City. Her lifetime best is 30.66. She'll be in lane number 4. And we've got some really good youngsters in here. In 5 is Martha Stead of Wyre Forest. In 6 it's Louise Jones of Royal Wolverhampton School, both juniors. Here we go. There's the result of that final heat of today's session of the men's 800 meters freestyle. The fastest 8 will still go through. They're still in this evening's final. They're not going through at all. They're in this evening's final. It's heat declared winner.
Yeah, Dan Jervis in that 800 metres freestyle tonight. Kieran Bird and Luke Turley. So another quick, tough swim from these boys tonight, we imagine.
I'd be very, very surprised if anyone does an Amy Wilmot with those 3 guys in the race. That really would be tough. Come through from one of the unseeded heats and get a medal. but it was a great swim from those guys. Very good indeed. So here we go. Here's the re-swim of the first heat of the women's 50 metres backstroke. A timing system error caused it not to work very well, and unfortunately a couple of the swimmers got left behind, and that's certainly not fair. So they're putting them back in again. You can see those little ledges where they've put their feet to make sure that they don't slip.
Yeah, really important. A lot of the time in backstroke swimming, swimmers tend to slip all the way down the wall and not maximise the start. But here we have in lane 4 and 5, Scarlett Ferris and Martha Stead.
So just 50 backstroke, 1 length backstroke. It was the first heat. It is the first heat of this women's 50 metres backstroke. There were 14 heats in total. And the red hats right in the centre there is Scarlett Ferris. Good start from her.
Yeah, using that 15 underwater. She had a good start earlier on, and she's just done the same thing again this afternoon. No, this morning, just about.
Just about 4 minutes still to go of the morning, and Jemima Hall of Bath also going well up there in lane number 7 in that pink suit. And it's a good swim. Can she get the touch? It looks like she's going in first with her arm. It's a good swim, 30.09. A new lifetime best by half a second for the winner, Jemima Hall of University of Bath. Second was Scarlett Ferris, 30.4. And again, another lifetime best for her. And her coach, Ann Dixon, will be delighted with that from Perth City.
Yeah, it's nice to see these girls swimming again and having the opportunity. Some of them were slightly slower, I remember, the first time than now, so that time won't stand, and this time will be their official result.
So that's the last race of this morning's session. We've made it with 3 minutes to go before noon. So there now are the qualifiers for the final of the 50 metres backstroke. Medli Harris goes in fastest into the final. Lauren Cox will go in second. Top 16 will go in the A and then the B finals. And then, of course, we have the Priority Paris final and the junior final. 32 swimmers will go through.
Yeah, the girls in the middle session today will be looking at some of those junior times, thinking, what do I need to do to make it back tonight? And we might see a few of those swimmers in the 12:30 session today back in some of those junior finals this afternoon.
So there we go. 70 swimmers will have swum in that heat of the women's 50 metres backstroke. Or 69, actually. Somebody must have withdrawn. So that concludes the morning session here at Ponds Forge International Sports Centre at the British National Swimming Championships. This is day 5. Heats on day 5 of a 6-day meet. 1,500 swimmers are here. And Great Britain Swimming put on a wonderful meet, encouraging as many seniors and juniors to come here and get back in the water, get back to world-class swimming. We've had some cracking stuff this morning, some wonderful stuff tonight. Join us again, 5:45 for the final sessions, the pre-game show, and then swimming will start at 6. What are you looking forward to tonight, Amy?
I think the 800 freestyle will be a really good race between Dan and Luke in the middle of the race, but I also can't forget about that men's 200 IM where we'll have Duncan Scott and Tom Dean going head-to-head.
Well, that is going to be really fascinating, isn't it? I'm also really looking forward to the men's 50 metres freestyle, seeing Lewis Burris have a crack at Ben Proud, see if he can beat him. That really would be a scalp to take. Join us again this evening, 5:45 for the finals of the pre-game show, and then it'll be 6 o'clock for the racing. See you then.
Bye.